Hello, I'm Cristolo, and welcome to the Fabled 42, where we build community through friendship, gaming, and chaos. You're watching the Realms of Ukodor, and you catch us live every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Pacific here at twitch.tv/Fabled42. Before we get into today's show, we're going to dive into our announcements. First and foremost, congratulations, Jeff. You won the Between Show giveaway.
Yay, Birdsy!
So, everything that you see that's 3D printed in all of our streams is brought to you by
Griffin Co.
We are also Vorpal powered. Our video and audio displays, player indicators, digital dice, zoom features on the battle map, and I lost my mouse, and custom dice are all brought to you by Vorpal Board. Yeah, that's sexy. I know, it's good. All right, so we have a lot of exciting things to get to. We have a lot of emotional moments, a lot of role play. So without further ado, we have next episode of Fox Talks on Friday at a time. 3:30? No. 4. At 4 o'clock Pacific. And after that is the next episode of Wizards, the third episode of Season 2. We have a lot of exciting things to unfold, and we're going to start to progress in the storyline. So it will start at the same time the other 2 episodes started. There is some crossover, and then we're going to fast forward to that very scary tree event that happened, and then see what happens after that. Lots of very exciting things with that. Followed by Saturday morning, the next episode of River Break. Saturday night, episode 4 of Fallout 42. I have notes on one of these tabs somewhere. And on Sunday is the next episode of, I don't know what that was, that was cool, Adventures of Middle Earth at 4 p.m. Pacific on Sunday. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get ready for the next episode of The Realms of Ukodor.
Ukodor?
Muster your courage, it must not abate. Allies are more than well, evil retreats. With fate in your hand, now the story's complete. Ukodor, we're full of mystery to explore. Monsters and danger around every turn. Soon enough you will learn. The choice is yours.
And welcome back. Last we left the party, they got themselves in quite a predicament. Following the trail that Kiwin had left behind as she found her brother, the party had ventured into the Artificer's Tower, encountered an ancient evil they thought to be long gone, fought some interesting constructs, and then were forced back into their cages by the Artificer. The Artificer began to pick apart the party members, talking about their flaws, their weaknesses, their fears, their history. He seemed to know quite a bit about everyone, and eventually ending with thanking everyone for bringing his daughter back to him, as he revealed that he had 2 additional arms hidden inside of his robe as he addressed Nafako. Nafako's new personalities started to subside as facts. revealed herself in protection of those other personalities. The Artificer continued to exclaim and exploit all of the weaknesses of all of the party members, talking to Eclipse about how he let his sister die, and his mother, father, and the rest of his family all perished because of his failure. Continuing and probing Carrick and Kiwin and Kyriel, toying with their emotions and pulling on all the threads he could pull on. Eventually, challenging Carrick, peering into his mind and memories, bringing some of them forward so Carrick could see his mother and his father, revealing to Carrick that his father is the reason why his mother is dead. His father is the reason why Carrick was just cast away and had the hard life that he had. It was because of his father. Then revealing to Carrick, the Artificer had a gift for him. As a cage came from the wall behind them down to the studio floor, a black dragonborn. Both cage opens, and Carrick and his father Ryvon walk out. The two addressing each other, somewhat recognizing one another. Challenges were made, words were spoken. The Artificer floated behind, watching. Kyriel noticed that the two mechanical arms beneath were doing motions. Some sort of arcane trickery was happening. A fight ensued. Carrick's father charged him and stabbed him once, right back in the kidneys. Carrick took a good amount of pain, retaliating, but missing with his maul. His father took another blow, almost bringing Carrick down to his knees. With the last bit of his rage, he swung and followed through, not killing, but knocking out his father. Toying and mocking the Artificer, Carrick went back into his cage and sat down. Frustrated that the strings he was pulling did not break Carrick as intended, the Artificer floated down, grabbed the back of the skull of Carrick's now knocked out father, lifted him up with one arm, and made Carrick watch as the Artificer crushed the skull and removing life from his father Ryvon. Dropping the body on the ground as the blood spilled into the stonework of this workshop. Continuing out of the room, telling them to enjoy their stay. He'll be back when the time is right. And as he was leaving, he recalled poor Kavor that he has been tormenting and torturing the entire time the party has been in this space. Snapping his fingers, sending all of the Rosarium needles poking into Kavor, simultaneously crushing and killing Kavor where he stood. His body fell to the ground, blood spilled on the floor. Following the stairs all the way up into his tower, the Artificer disappeared. The group, some were angry, some were confused, some were sad, some were just tired. Carrick and Kyriel, I believe, took a long rest. Kiwin, confused and looking at her brother, Nafko and Eclipse, processing emotions and standing watch. During that watch, Eclipse noticed the white owl, the same white owl that he saw in Travak. The same white owl that seemed to accompany Kavor, standing perched on an upper ledge, looking down at Eclipse. Eventually flying down when it noticed Eclipse recognized it. Coming down and speaking to Eclipse. Talking about vengeance and an arrangement. Both creatures needing something, but both creatures needing one another. Eclipse and his new owl friend decided to join as companions. Upon doing so, Eclipse was hit with an arcane flurry, granting them a few interesting spells. In an instant, you watch as Eclipse shrinks in size to be a very small tabaxi. He looks around, looks at Nafako, smirks for a moment, and vanishes. Nafako yells out, "Eclipse, Eclipse!" No response. Eclipse and the owl burst up the stairs, looking for the artificer. On the third floor, they found what seems to be a very large energy source, a very large rosarium crystal that seemed to be some sort of reactor for the entire tower. Looking at it with the insight of their new owl friend, there was a chance they could destroy it, possibly freeing their friends and finding a way out of here. Listening off in the distance, he heard the artificer argue, maybe talking to himself. He was unsure. Instead of investigating, they insisted that the owl friend fly up and distract the artificer and bring them back. And that they did. The owl came flying back, Eclipse still invisible, standing and waiting. The artificer burst into the room, and as he noticed there was someone else in the room, it was too late. Eclipse took 2 very violent strikes at the eyes of the artificer. Their new owl friend cast Hold Person, and the artificer failed their saving throw. Eclipse followed up with attacks to the nose and tongue, ankles and feet of the artificer, as the artificer continued to fail their checks. And in a last-ditch effort, Eclipse yelled out to his sister that he will see them soon. And he took his last attack on the reactor, causing a chain reaction, exploding in the center of this room on the 3rd floor. The entire tower shook. Energy and rubble went everywhere. Eclipse tried to get out of the way, noticing from the background, Tyvar saw at the last moment there was danger and burst back down the stairs. The owl as well. The reactor was gone. Energy source destroyed. The artificer eviscerated. All of the cages down below were opened and free. The party jumped out. Kiwin ran to her brother to get him out to safety, and in an instant, pulling him away from rubble falling and crushing them both. Kyriel and Nafako burst up the stairs looking for their friend Eclipse, trying to find what happened. Carrick looking around and following the trail of blood where his dead father was dragged into another room. The groups all moving simultaneously, eventually Nafako and Kyriel finding Eclipse, bringing him back with an inch of life. Kiwin and Roland began to leave the space. Roland looked to his sister, told her he loved her, gave her some inspiration, and ran back in to save the others, polymorphing himself into a very huge creature, helping a lot of the survivors and prisoners up on the 3rd and 4th floor down to safety. Eventually, all of them began to go down towards the entrance. Kyriel, Nafako, and Eclipse burst down the stairs, leaping over broken stairwells, and eventually meeting their friend Kiwin and Roland. Carrick still nowhere to be found, but there wasn't time to look around. Everyone rushed towards the gates that did not open. But as they got there, they opened from the outside, and you saw Orgul, Theron, and several dozen townsfolk, full arms, ready to help take this tower and kill the artificer. But instead, they helped bridge the gap and open the gate so that all of the survivors could flee. Everyone fled out into the open, cold night air as the tower began to explode and collapse on itself. Everyone looks around, looking for Carrick. Nowhere to be found. They all look back to the opening, contemplating whether or not to go in or he's lost. And as the big giant doors of this tower began to collapse, and they slam on the ground and a big burst of explosion and dust fills the air, you see a very large figure with a body over his shoulder, rushing towards all of you. Carrick made it out alive and safe. And that's where we're going to pick up for tonight. What do you guys want to do?
Is everybody out? Did we get everyone out?
Kiwan's gonna run up to Carrick and give him a big hug.
Thanks. I got my hands full. And I'll set the body down. Is everyone out? Is everyone safe?
All of us are, but I don't know about all the prisoners.
At about this point, Kyriel and Eclipse, you know this to be Orgul. He's a very, very large, maybe 6 inches taller than both Kiwan and Carrick. Older orc with some scarring and just whatever. Well, you all have done enough. Please, sit. There's a fire back there. Get warm. My men and I will start looking in the rubble to see if there's anything to salvage and to see if there's any more survivors. You all work very fast. We're going to have a conversation. And then he turns and he walks towards the tower with about 12 people to start sifting through that.
Karen, do you know who that is?
I don't.
That was a friend.
Oh.
Yeah.
I would assume so.
I am
Carrick,
surprised
I'm really glad you found your father, and so he wasn't, buried down in the tower.
Yeah. About that. There's no way I'm digging a grave out here.
Well,
You said there's a fire. There is a fire, right? Sorry.
Yeah, there's a pretty big fire.
well,
Maybe we can add something to it and turn it into a pyre.
Carrick, I hope this isn't too forward, but I know it was weird in there, and I do have a way that you could potentially say goodbye to him. I could talk to him and relay any information you'd like, or he could give you any information. But, I think we could find a proper... But you don't know if that was all real. I mean, he's been messing with everyone's minds. He's been messing with my brother's mind. No one knows what's going on. Also, are you sure you want to burn him? That seems so unceremonious. I mean, I think we can find a proper way to say goodbye.
Bury him out here in the hard soil? I don't think so.
Well, I could make the soil warm. And then we can... I mean, I don't know what your traditions are, but...
The Dragonborn do have some strange traditions, but this may be appropriate for them.
It's gonna be appropriate for me.
Indeed.
Do you want to talk? Do you want me to do the talk with Dead? I can. I don't want to push you into anything, but I feel like...
No, I wanted answers to start with. That's why I left him alive.
Well, this is a way to get answers. And there are ways to bring him back, too, I can't do it right now, but
That would be
someone
a lot
might
of
be able
magic
to.
reform his back of his head.
It's possible. It's possible.
I'm willing to try to talk to him.
All right. I can do that. I can do that for you. Solo. So I just want to make sure I'm understanding.
I'm listening.
Correctly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's my understanding that with Speak with Dead, it's only the person who casts it that is able to speak with them, or is it anyone that can ask them the 5 questions?
I think the way that I view it is anyone can ask it questions, but everybody can hear the answers. That's the way that I view it.
Yeah,
anyone can ask the questions and everyone hears it.
No,
Yeah.
you ask the questions,
Oh,
but everybody can hear
hears
what
it. Yeah.
what the creature says. If I didn't say that right, I'm my brain.
I don't know. I don't know. But okay. I just wanted to make sure I understand. Because that's how I saw it. So cool. All right. So Well, Carrick, if you're ready, I can do it right now, or we can, whatever you'd want.
Well, do they need us to help in any way first?
I don't know. That
I mean, and
big
you do
guy.
look around, and there's probably a dozen people like kind of protecting, like doing like a perimeter around the camp. And there's a pretty hefty camp here. You do see the werewolves and the other and Theron. Like you see everybody that you saw there. They're all kind of
We see
perimeter, and there's about.
werewolves. Keelan is gonna like.
Well, you don't know that yet, I guess.
They might not
Any of these
be.
people.
They might be
They're
in there.
currently in dire wolf form, so I was like, everybody else knows they're werewolves. Yeah, so there are 4 dire wolves, you know, in the front of a big
Keelan's gonna be
cart, and there's probably about 18 or 20 people like starting to sift through the rubble. It's still there's still a lot of things exploding, so it's still very much like needs to chill out for a second. But
Yeah.
Well, let's try it.
All right, so I believe I can ask 5 questions. I have to ask. We've got 10 minutes to talk, but you'll be able to hear everything. So you'll just have to tell me what to say. All right, and I'll try and say it exactly how you want me to. I know I can get a little carried away sometimes, but I'm
They're
really
very
gonna try.
straightforward questions.
And just
Okay.
a little meta at this point. We can come back to this afterwards, but Nafiko almost certainly would have dragged Eclipse off to the side.
Yep.
Almost immediately. So we may not be here right now.
I would have said
So-
immediately, like as you're running out, you're
Yeah.
like, oh fuck you, you're coming here, like you guys put it that
Yeah.
way as the group is here.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, I got that.
Yes.
So I'm
Can't wait.
casting Speak
Okay.
with Dead. I have to cast it at a level 4 because that's the only spell slot I got. All right. So I'm going to like sit down next to his body, pull out some incense, do the whole thing.
So as you cast it, you see the lifeless body of Ryvon laying in front of you, all. And in a moment, you watch his eyes open up, and he kind of sits up really quickly.
Holy moly.
Ask him why he killed my mother.
Well, hi there. Why did you kill Carrick's mom?
Oh my god. Say it one more time. One second.
Keewan being Keewan.
Did he just literally walk off camera to slap himself?
I assume there are children involved, but
Yes.
Yeah. Children.
All right.
After composing myself, after freaking out a little bit over this dead body reanimating because it's the first time she's ever done it, she's very excited.
Yeah.
Well, hi there. Why did you kill Carrick's mother?
Carrick's mother still lives.
So the artificer lied.
Yeah.
Where is she?
Do you know where Carrick's mother is?
I lack.
Great. Why did he leave?
Why did you leave Carrick and his mother?
I didn't leave. Carrick was taken from us. We tried to find him when I lost his mother.
Wait a minute. What? Well,
Got two more questions, Carrick.
He's saying that he did want to be with me.
think
He did
so.
want me around.
It sounds like it.
What do you want me to do?
What would you like Carrick to do?
Find his mother and sister.
Sister? What? That's not a question.
Kill Rika.
Oh, we
That's
got
a
two
name I
answers
know.
to that one. Final question, Carrick.
I don't even know anymore. My whole perception has changed.
Keelan's gonna grab Carrick's hand. I'm assuming he's sitting right next to her.
God, I don't even know. Did you love us?
Did you love Carrick?
I loved Carrick more than life itself.
And you watch as the body falls back and stops moving, and the last gasp of air leaves his breath.
Why? Why do I have to find out like this?
Keelan's gonna just hug him. Carrick, you have a family. You gotta find him. That's incredible. A mother and a sister are still around. And I know you want to burn him, to send him off, but you know, I can't do it for you now because I'm not strong enough yet, but there are people around that can bring him back, potentially, if that's
Listen,
something...
Kid, I appreciate it. You've done me a real solid here, and I really appreciate it. I have even more questions about my own life now, and I need to put this to bed. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. We build the pyre and we throw him on.
Alright, well, whatever you think's right.
That's what we'll do. Thank you.
You're welcome. What else are best friends for?
Eternal optimism, kid. You got it. Let me deal with the fire. Thanks again,
Alright.
kid. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Anytime, anytime.
And Eric is going to take a sort of long walk to find things to burn.
Of course. Of course.
And find a tissue.
Oh.
And as this is happening and you watch as Carrick walks into the woods to find lots of sticks hundreds of feet apart, we go to Nafako and Eclipse.
So, as soon as we get outside, I think she probably like held onto your hand the entire time they were running out. And once they stop, she drags you over to the side, and as she faces you, her face it doesn't look like Nafako's anymore. Fur has gone up the entire way, and it looks very much like Light's face. Her eyes are there, but there are things that are wrong. Like, she doesn't have tabaxi ears, and her teeth haven't changed. Things that are sort of subtly wrong. And additionally disturbing. You see scars around her eyes, but unlike the scar that mars your eyes, these look very deliberate and intentional, like someone carved runes around her eyes. Eclipse, how dare you do this to me? I don't know what I am, but I am not dead. And if I were, I would not want you to throw your life away.
What is this one's life worth?
More than nothing.
The monster takes everything away from this one. This one's sole purpose was to destroy them.
No, your purpose is so much more than that. I don't know what purpose is it. Why? She's shoving you a little bit. She's getting in your face. Is that what you want? Just to live for revenge? You want nothing else? What am I? Because this monster did this to me and everyone I cared about. Is that all I should live for too?
This one doesn't know how to feel about any of this because this one spends most of their life thinking that Light was dead. And then someone comes into their life. The first positive experience this one has had in any sort of interaction with another living being. The first person that this one trusts, the first person this one actually cares about. And then they find out that they are not who they say they are.
I don't care what this does to your relationship with the other one, but you can't do this. You can't. I don't know what I am, but I'm here. I'm sorry if this is hard for you too.
How? You can't be Light. How can you can't be Light and Nafuko? This one dedicated their life to making things right again, and then just show up again out of nowhere.
Sorry if this didn't fit into your narrative. You'll just kill someone and then die. Is that was your plan? That was the end goal.
What else is there at this point? This one spends their entire life being a pawn in someone else's game. This is the first time this one actually can take control of their own life. Choose their own destiny.
And you choose that destiny to be death?
What else is there for this one?
There are so many things out there. I don't know. I can barely remember anything. But I know that there's more than just throwing your life away. Think of all the people that we can help. There are people who need help right now, right here.
And this one can be of help how?
You're good at finding things, right? And she starts grabbing your hand. We're going to go help them look through the rubble.
Okay.
I don't care that you're like 8 points of HP away from death where you're going.
Me too.
Yeah, there's definitely still plenty of like blood matted in the fur and everything.
So Eclipse and Nafuko with the really awesome accent goes into the rubble and starts looking through things. Please, perception or investigation check for you two. Kai, what are you up to?
I, on the other hand, am not very good at finding things, but we'll go for it anyway.
On Brit.
On Brit. So that's a 2.
Okay. Eclipse, what was your shit? Oh, there you go.
Eclipse is
You
a
both
little
are very
distracted at the
distracted.
moment.
Yeah. There's too much
I'm not
blood in your
making my
eyes.
point very well.
Natural
Yeah,
one to
there's too much-
anyone listening to the podcast.
Yeah, blood. Not tears, blood.
Okay. Yeah. So, Kiwin, you are kind of standing where Carrick was. Kai, what were you doing during all of these things?
So I saw after our ghouls came and told us that they were going to take care of the rescue mission, and I saw Eclipse and Nafako take off toward the woods, and I see Kiwin and Carrick talking, and I just kind of wander off into a quiet little area, not the woods, just right outside of camp, and I'm going to find a place to sit down, and I'll take out my my wizard's spellbook, and I'm going to be drawing these crystals and crystal-like trees, and flipping through and trying to find a spell similar to the one that I use to summon honkers. And I'm going to be working on it and reworking on it and writing it down over and over and over, trying to figure out how I can summon a creature that I saw when I was banished.
Okay.
And on the top of the page, I'm going to write the name Njord.
Okay. Give me a Arcana check for that. Luck to Nafako, Eclipse, and Kiwin. And then another 3 luck to Kiwin.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, you're
Why am I
black.
black? Let me change that. That was weird. I can't see that.
The black
Oh, it
dice
says
are off.
13. That's fine. It
They
says
are
13.
they are super cool, but you can't read
Yeah.
them.
13, 30, 20.
Okay. Yeah. So you take some time to do that, and then you know the outcome of that once you're done with that. Carrick, you're out looking for sticks. Nafako and Eclipse are pretending to look for stuff. Kiwin, what were you doing?
We're looking. We're just being very incompetent.
Yeah, he's out there.
After Carrick wandered away, I'd probably just like sit there thinking about, holy moly, I just spoke with a dead person for the first time. It was so cool and scary. And then I'm gonna go find my brother.
Okay. And you get up and you see your brother kind of like one hand on a tree and just kind of like hunched over, just looking down at that moment. And as you walk up to him, we got 3 more luck to Kai and 6 luck to Carrick.
Oh, thank you.
Just hit the jackpot.
So he's just sitting there, like, just kind of breathing heavy.
Brother, how you doing?
Sister, why are you here?
Well, there's your accent. Gosh darn it. You weren't speaking in your accent earlier. It made me so mad.
What are you talking about? I haven't seen you.
Roland.
Sister, what are you doing here? I haven't seen you since the swamp. Damn it, Eric.
Gosh.
No, I love it.
Brother, oh my god, I can't believe I have to tell you all of this again. After you left and went to investigate whatever sound I sent you to investigate, and I'm so sorry because you never came back, and it was terrifying having you gone. And there was another sound at night, and you know, I have your shield, and she motions to the shield she has that obviously it's not his shield anymore, or it is his shield, but it's nicer. And his mace. And I grabbed your shield and your mace, and you know, I was trying to be like you. I was trying to be brave because you know, it was my fault that you got taken or whatever. And I got scared, and I ended up setting a lot of things at home on fire. And I ran because I couldn't face Mama and Pa and everyone after setting everything on fire. And so I just ran. I ran for days until I got out of the swamp. And then I ran into Carrick, the Dragonborn, who has wandered away now. And he's really nice, and he thinks I'm silly, but he was the first person who was nice to me. And then I met everyone else, and I've been getting more powerful. And Kyriel, the really pretty one, she helped me go through the darkness. I'm still scared of the dark. I don't like it at all, but they're helping me. And Nafiko, the one with the feathered hair, she's like the sweetest person I've ever met. And the other cat, he saved my life. I'd be dead without him, for sure. And then I got the ability to send messages, and I messaged you first because I was looking for you, and you told me not to come find you.
And about that moment, he's just been watching, and he's just taking it in, and he's slowly getting closer and closer. And about that moment, he just rushes in and just gives a giant big bear hug, his hand on the back of your maw, and just holding you tight. Sister, the last thing I remember is leaving the swamp. Was that noise? Until just now, when you showed up here. What is all this white stuff? Like, where are we?
It's called snow, and it's so weird, isn't it?
What the devil is snow?
It's what did they tell me it was? It's like when it rains, it's snow instead of rain. I don't like it either.
I mean, he's just hugging you and just taking it in.
And she just hugs him back.
Did I hear someone calling you Grandma's name? But what are you doing, sister?
Well, when I met Carrick, they asked me what my name was, and I don't have a name, and I didn't know what to say, and I panicked, and I just said Kiwin, because you know, Mama's so cool. And she taught me everything I know.
Well, she is cool. I'm glad you're safe, and he's just hugging you at this point.
You told me that you never wanted to come back to the swamp. And I feel like that wasn't you, and it was whatever the artificer was making you into, but it hurt
I don't
me.
remember saying that.
I mean it's really cool out in the world. But you told me you never wanted to go back home and that you wanted to leave.
Well, I reckon that wasn't me talking. Well, I'm glad you're safe.
I'm safe because of my friends. If it wasn't for them, I'd be dead. But I have another friend. And I'm going to snap my fingers and I'm going to bring out Alscon.
Holy devil, what is that?
This is Alscon. He's a Yeti, but he's about to hit puberty. He can talk. Alscon, this is my brother. I know you just met him, but this is actually him.
He leans in to just kind of so you can hear it, like, sister, what's a Yeti?
Oh, it's like, I don't know. They're giant type, but they live in the snow. Isn't that silly?
Well, nice to meet you, little sir. Thank you for keeping an eye on my sister. Elscon's like chewing on something and just looks up.
Yeah, he's about to hit puberty. He told me so. He eats a whole lot. If you give him food, that's it. It's over. It reminds me-
you look
it
back
reminds
down
me of
and he's
Uncle Jed.
oh and he starts laughing. Oh, Uncle Jeb.
Yeah.
So you look back down. Elscon's gone, and there's this huge like tent that looks like food storage, and Elscon ran inside of that.
He's gonna eat all these people's food. Elscon!
Okay. So you and your brother sit there. He sits down because he looks tired.
Yeah.
Kai finishes her spell and casts Blink. Carrick, is there anything else you're doing?
Just building up the pyre, and then I'm gonna end up putting the body on there.
Okay, so we'll circle back to that towards the end of this part of it, I guess. Nafako and Eclipse, you're still looking in the rubble?
Are we?
You guys can give me another perception check.
Yeah, attempting to.
At this point... Okay. Well, I was going to say you guys have advantage because all the other people are helping now, and they're helping like move stuff and say, hey, look over here, and then whatever.
What is it,
so
perception?
13.
Or investigation, yeah, either.
Perception's better for me, so that'd be 23.
23. During this time, as everyone's having these conversations, and Kai is etching her new spell, and you all are kind of helping these other townsfolk like lift up things and look for debris. Kind of on the back side of where this big opening was, there was another door, and that door was also almost as large, and it had kind of broken down and fell to the ground. And a lot of the townsfolk are starting to lift and leverage, and they pull off. And the first thing that you see, Eclipse, is what looks to be the head of a bronze dragon. And you all like instinctually jump back, and everyone gets all defensive. But at a closer look, this is 1 second, sorry. This is a machine of some sort. Give me another investigation check, both of you with advantage.
Investigation, you say?
Yes.
Good thing for that advantage.
That's good.
With
thing for that.
advantage.
Hey, look, I went from 1 to double ones.
14 for me.
14 for you. Okay. So as you both look into this, and the villagers help kind of pull things aside, and they're continuing to pull things aside, you see a very large metallic and bronze machine. It looks like there's different spikes and things coming off of it. There are several like viewing portals and things, and it looks like there are wheels and tread of some sort. You know, foreign things. It looks like wheels that have other things on top of it that will help move through the snow.
Oh my
It looks like a very large vehicle construct.
We have a dragon hunting.
That's really cool.
So
What is
that kind of
this?
looks like this.
Oh my gosh. That is just so cool.
That is really awesome. Eclipse doesn't know what the hell this thing is, but that looks really cool.
I don't even understand tank treads in this.
I don't see another purpose of this thing, and I have it, so let's use it.
Like Mad Max Fury Road up in the...
Yeah, right.
Let's do it.
In the snow version.
Snow Mad Max, yeah. Why not?
Snow Max.
Snowmax.
Snad snacks.
Mad Snow.
Snad snacks.
Oh, what are we doing? We're just gonna keep going down this.
Yep.
Snowballing.
This is-
if you
But
will.
Oh, yeah,
yes,
yes,
exactly.
there is this large vehicle thing here, and the villagers are helping kind of take the debris off, so it is kind of exposed now, and they're kind of ignoring the machine, but they kind of go in the back room. And they all start to pull out other things that maybe the town would need, like they're bringing out all sorts of supplies and stuff.
What is this?
I have no idea.
Never never seen anything like it before. And Eclipse is going to tap the ends of one of his daggers against it, just ding ding.
So you do it, and there's this like a very loud vibrating noise.
He did not make anything like this when I lived with him.
What would you think it to be for?
So do we get the impression that it's a vehicle? Or is this like just so far
Yeah,
from
I
everything
mean,
we've seen?
When you look at it, I mean, it has wheels like a cart. It has tread that looks like it might actually help get through the snow. It's not quite this dark of a color. It's more bronze with some black in it. This is obviously for a machine for hell. Yours looks more like one of those big giant snow machines. But it definitely looks like you could travel with it through the snow. Absolutely. If you figure out how to operate it.
I suppose transportation? She's poking it.
And the cats are gonna just keep on poking the new fancy shiny thing.
Mm-hmm.
So you keep poking it, and eventually you poke it somewhere on the side, and a door opens up.
Did it really?
I mean, it's steam powered, of course.
Eclipse walks inside.
Mm-hmm.
As you walk inside, as your feet enter the floor on the inside, everything starts to light up. You see all these little arcane little gems that all looks like little rosarium crystals start to light up. And you see that there's a very large living space. It looks like it has 10 different racks, like sleeping racks in the back. There's like a little area to eat. Looks like there's like weapons closets that has just assorted just kind of junky weapons. And then there's like a little hallway that goes to the front, where it's like the main cockpit.
It's like an RV.
It's like
I
an
don't
RV.
understand. He didn't seem like he had anybody who he would trust to run this. 10 bits? I don't know. Maybe he was making more people like Roland.
Yes, doesn't seem like the type who would keep company on equal standing. Eclipse just keeps looking around, curiously examining things.
Sure.
Does any of my new arcane knowledge ring any bells
little
about
bit.
any of this?
Yeah, so I mean, the machinery and how this is built is very, very much like the constructs you all fought. These are machines that have that Rosari heart inside of them. This is something we teased in Origins of Ukodor, where like there was actually like a Rosari crystal in the shape of a heart that actually gave something life. We never got to it, but maybe one day we will. This is very similar, and these constructs had something very similar in it. What you're seeing is little small Rosari crystals kind of probed all throughout this space that is also generating light, but it also looks like it's generating power for this machine. And it is very much activated by you being in this space. There are several seats in the front, and there are what looks to be like handles as like a steering wheel that none of you would really know what a steering wheel is, but it does look like a device. I don't know how to not meta explain this. It looks like two reins of a horse thing. It kind of just in one position that looks like it would guide the direction of the vehicle.
Yeah.
With your new arcane knowledge.
It resembles much of a carriage, but there's Rosari everywhere. It almost seems like it draws power from us.
Interesting. I don't understand. Where was he? Very strange. He told us his plan was to burn the world down and then come in as its savior. So was this going to fight the dragon, or was this part of the dragon attack? I guess it doesn't matter. It's very
Suppose not.
convoluted.
At the end of the day, they're no more.
She gives you a little grin. You sure showed him. That was I can't say he didn't deserve any of that. He deserved every bit of that. This was looked very painful.
This one thought they would get more satisfaction out of it. But it did not make the pain go away.
I think that's an important lesson.
Are you
So-
really? Are you really light?
I think so. The truth is I don't remember before I was in the tower. Because he took my memories away, and some of them have come back. I mean, you and Nafika were convinced you knew the same person. I feel like I know you, but I don't know. It's all mixed up. I have her memories. I can...
Truth is, you don't know this one. At least, not the version that Light would have known. Much
I
has
mean,
changed in the last 8 years.
Same can very much be said for me.
This one has a hard time. Spent most of their life thinking their sister dead. It was easier this way.
Why did you think I was dead? Instead of just someone else's slave? Or did you choose to think it was dead because it was easier than what you were going through?
It was easier than imagining Light seeing what this one has become. The monster that this one had to be in order to survive.
She walks up to you and she puts both of her hands on your shoulder, and then she goes, I don't know what you've done, all the things you've done, Eclipse, but from everything I've seen, from going through her memories, I think you're not a monster.
You always did know how to make this one smile. And in spite of saying that, it's not really like a real smile, but it's kind of like that half smile that you just can't seem but help. Probably one of the first involuntary smiles that have actually graced his face in a while.
And then she throws her arms around you and gives you a big hug.
Still somewhat hesitant, but does return it.
Please don't do that again.
We'll try.
Do or do not.
Isn't this one supposed to be the older brother? Why is the little one giving
Well, I do share a mind with an old lady too, so it's all very confusing.
Quite the range. Okay.
Perhaps it'd be best if we return to the others and show what we found.
Yes, I agree. Also, Nafika wants to know if you hate her. asking really loudly because you said that you would hate her if I was still alive. But I'm telling her that's probably not true. But she just wants to hear
Asking
it.
for a friend.
You know.
This is going to take some adjustment. But hard to hate the first person in many years that this one is cared for.
You know, you keep saying that she's the first person who treated you kindly, but it's sort of the same for her, because you're the first person who insisted she wasn't a monster.
If they knew the things that this one had done, they would know that they are no monster.
She is a little upset about the nose cutting off, though. She thought that was a little excessive, but
Given the
she understands.
circumstances, they can let that one slide.
And then we walk back to the rest of the party.
Okay, so you leave this machine. As you walk out, it closes and looks like it powers down. There's a luck to Kyriel, Carrick, and Nafako. And there is another luck to Kiwin.
Thank you. I have a question.
Yes.
Is Roland hurt?
Yes.
I would have cast at least 1 cure wounds, if not 2 cure wounds on him.
Okay.
And I
Probably
would
2.
do the same to myself because I have to.
Okay. Are you at full right now?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm about to roll my.
Got it.
So. I am not at whole. I'm at like a little. I'm like at half. A little.
Okay,
over
so.
half, but
And he casts Cure Wounds twice on you, and once for 22, once for 19.
oh, okay. 18 hit points back to him from me.
Okay, thank you. So you two are healing each other and kind of catching up. Carrick, you're finishing the pyre. Nafako and Eclipse are walking back to their friends. Kai, I would say you'd be done with your inscriptions and all that. Is there anything else you'd like to do?
Start studying the spell.
Okay.
To try to learn it.
So about that time, Nafako and Eclipse, you get back. Carrick is standing in front of a very large pyre that is on fire. His body of his father is at his feet. What do you all want to do?
Eclipse is going to silently walk up and stand by Carrick's side.
I'm standing by his side as well.
I'll walk up as well.
Same.
So, sister, this is your friend.
These are my friends. This is Carrick. He's my best friend. Kyriel, Eclipse, Nafako, they're all my best friends. Let's be honest. But Carrick was my first best friend. We have these necklaces. Did I show you? Not necklaces, bracelets.
My sister has she's spoken very, very highly of all of you. Thank you all for and he kind of like holds his head for a second. Sorry. Thank you all for helping her. It really means a lot.
You're losing your accent again. Are you feeling all right?
So as that happens, you see that his hair color starts to change again. So when you were having this conversation, it was still reddish. So it's starting to go black again. And his eyes are I can't remember what color eyes he had at first, but these are now very, very vibrant blue eyes.
He would have had like the honey colored eyes like he went.
Got it. Carrick, If I understand this correctly, this is your father, yes?
Yeah.
And you wish to set him on the pyre?
Yeah.
Would it be alright if I assisted you with that?
Suppose not.
And he closes his eyes for a second, and he opens them up, and they spark with this blue-purple arcane energy. And you watch as this very large kind of arcane hand comes up and scoops underneath of his father and lifts him about 10 feet off the ground and hovers it over where the pyre is.
Well, I ain't seen nothing like that before.
Whenever you're ready, I will lower him into the fire.
Kid, your brother normally do this kind of stuff?
Well, no, I mean, I know that he's learned some things while being here, but
It looks
Gosh.
different now.
yeah. And he just had his accent back, and now it's leaving again. Roland, what's going on?
That I was trying to keep that quiet between the two of us, and then she blurts that out. No. And then she blurts that out, and I go,
Well, I was trying to do it subtly, and then you guys picked up on it, so it was great.
we're ready.
Okay.
Eclipse is cautiously watching Roland out of the corner of his eye.
And he starts to slowly lower the body into the fire, and then he releases concentration on Bigby's hand.
Oh, I love Bigby's hand. One of my favorite spells.
Goodbye, Father. I feel like I didn't know you. And now I feel like still don't know you, but at least it's a good memory now. Be with the ancestors.
You all stand there for an hour or so. And the fire burns and burns, sending the soul and ashes into the sky. And you watch as some of the clouds start to separate, just for a moment. And you actually see stars in the night sky, just for a moment, before it closes up again. And eventually the fire does subside, leaving just ashes. What would you all like to do?
Is the Dragonborn okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. Come on. But thanks, I appreciate it.
This one had been away from their family for quite some time, but the Dragonborn hardly knew it all. Hopefully, maybe this brings some peace.
It brings something, that's for sure. And a hell of a lot of questions. But at least he's gone now. For real.
And not by your hand. That's fine.
No, you're good.
Well, let's not waste any time here. It pulls out like a flask. And starts passing it around.
Yeah. And as that time, you watch as Roland takes a knee by the fire. It looks like he's saying prayers or something along that nature.
Do you fill us in on what was the like words you spoke? Because like I have no idea at the moment that you spoke to your father before we were away.
Well, since you want to know, the artificer made me believe that he killed my mother. And that's why I was left alone. Now, I've learned that the kid here talked to him after he was dead. And he told me that my mother's still alive and I have a sister as well. But they were taken away from him when he was trying to find me. So, we're all lost, scattered to the world. Mostly in Hylac, except now I don't know where the hell we are.
Does the Dragonborn know who took them?
I've got a name.
Refuse the name.
God damn it. Rigva, Rigga. Damn it.
Damn it, Solo, why'd you make such a hard name to say?
It's a good question.
Vrigka. V-R-I-G-K-A.
Vrigka.
That R really throws it off. It's my fault.
Eclipse's ears twitch and his face immediately scowls upon hearing that name.
Am I to take from that you perhaps now have a common enemy?
It seems that the Dragonborn and this one's future goals may be somewhat aligned.
Is this the one you were talking about with RoU?
Yes. Frigga was a former employer to both the Dragonborn and this one. And if there was ever a monster on this earth that could have possibly been on par with the one we just destroyed, it's that foul beast.
Yep. Just moved to the top of my list.
Dragonborn. This one has possibly misjudged you for quite some time. But it seems that there's a lot more in common than previously expected. And this one swears upon the blood of family that Frigga will breathe their last breath by our hands.
That I can agree to.
On that oath, would the Dragonborn allow this one to refer to them by name?
Yeah?
Together, Carrick and Eclipse take down Frigga.
Oh.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Roland stands up from the fire, walks back towards all of you, hands a little vial to Kiwin. Keep this safe, sister. And it sounds like we all have a common enemy. And if you'll have me, I would like to assist as much as I can.
You mean like hang out with us? That's all she's ever wanted.
Yes, Kiwin. I would like to hang out with all of you and assist as best I can.
She's just gonna grab him. Guys, this is my brother. Whoever that was on the inside, I don't know who that was, but this is my brother. His name's Roland, and he's just the coolest, isn't he?
Thank you.
Eclipse, is Kyriel still present? Okay. Eclipse turns to her. How does the magician fare?
Oh, I'm fine. I just have a lot of studying I need to do.
They said some pretty awful things in there.
Yeah. Not so bad to me, but some things that were a little enlightening. And now I can't follow up, but I saw enough to maybe give me a lead on some things that I've been wondering.
What things were you wondering? And you guys probably have noticed at this point that Nafiko does not look like Nafiko. She looks like halfway to a tabaxi.
Why do your eyes look so different? Did it not stop? The changing...
I suppose the eyes are one of the things that are the most. These are her. Nafiko usually has light eyes.
Well, you said you had.
Oh, with the scars around them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And would I recognize those symbols? Now that I'm taking a closer look.
That's a good question.
What are the symbols?
They were used in the ritual to mark out different parts of. I mean, just meta. They were used in the ritual to mark out different parts of the bodies that he wanted to include.
Yeah. Did we ever do the icons?
No.
I don't think we.
No, it was just sort of.
I would say, Kai, give me an Arcana check.
How much do you know about necromancy?
Oh, I had to reset. I forgot. Hold on. $14.
Well, that's still
14.
not a bad roll.
Yeah, I was like, Arcana's not my best. So.
Some of them actually look. There's some familiarity with the runes, the symbols. Maybe with further research and studies, maybe you could imprint them on your book and find out later. But some of it does look familiar.
Some of those symbols, do you know much about them?
I have no idea what you're talking about, because she hasn't looked in a mirror since she's been transformed. This is the first time this has ever happened.
Yeah. Some of them look kind of familiar, but I'm not sure if I've seen anything like them quite like those before.
No, really, what are you talking about?
Who has a mirror?
What is a mirror, you say?
There are mirrors in monster hunting packs.
What am I, vain?
That's fair.
I'll take out one of my daggers and hold it up for her and kind of reflect the moonlight and show her.
As Kyriel does this, Eclipse is going to turn towards Lightfico.
Lightfico. Yes.
In either case,
you know what I could do? I could turn into her.
Oh gosh.
Oh.
I'm sure you want to see this.
If you want me to. I'm probably just.
See what? What are you talking about?
Well, I mean, with Kyriel's dagger up, you do see the reflection with the light from the moon, and you do see what you all are talking about.
Oh. This looks pretty bad.
Yeah, it doesn't look normal. That's for sure.
What's happening?
I'm just seeing if she's gonna retain control or if she's going to shrink away.
Yeah, Eclipse kind of gives Kyriel a bit of a dirty look after that comment.
Well, she didn't look like this before.
This is not Nafiko.
Yes, I am. You know, it's kind of funny. I just realized that you have a brother whose memory was erased and he had a different name, and Eclipse has a sister whose memory was erased and has a different name now. You know, he has like an MO. This Retsakor, yes, Eclipse knew me as Light. I'm more used to being called Helena, but now I'm Nafako, I guess. So, I don't know. Am I Nafako? It's all confusing. It's very confusing. We need to figure out a lot of things inside. What's going on? I don't really know. It's a lot.
While
Very
she's
confusing.
explaining this, I'll be writing all of the runes down just to have them with me, just in case they disappear if she changes again.
Yeah, I would say that you have very easily, you can replicate the runes to the T. So someone could see them and like they could reenact or whatever they need to do. You know, if they're extra little flicks or whatever, like you'd be able to replicate it. Okay. So as you all are kind of finishing up these conversations and the fire has subsided, all talking about potential next steps, a lot of the crew is coming back, and they kind of slam a bunch of things on the ground, and Orgul, who some of you know, but some of you don't know his name yet, does walk up. Well, you all did a really good number on this tower. We thank you. All the people of the Frigid Expanse, thank you all for killing the Artificer.
The world is a better place without them.
You all did it. You all killed him, which means all of this is yours. And he kind of, they all just start bringing in, piles of just, some of it's stuff. There's a couple chests of books. There are chests of trinkets and coins. Some chests of items and things. Now, I know we agreed on a coin trade. Is that correct?
Yes.
Do you recall what that was?
Meta, absolutely not.
Neither do I.
That's why he is asking.
Yep, yep.
I'm a little
Yep.
I'm a little old in my age, and I can't recall.
It was only a day ago, but it was also a month ago.
I didn't write down.
A day ago, but a month ago. I like it.
It was a day ago in game.
If someone in the
ago.
chat happens to know how much coin I offered them, by all means, please tell me. But
Well,
I don't remember.
I don't think we met before.
well, and he kind of stands up and kind of cleans himself off a little bit and grabs your hand. It's very nice to meet you. My name is Orgul. And you are?
Oh, yeah, I have a name. It's Keelan. And I'm why you guys are all here. I'm sorry.
Well, then you are the reason why this is down, because you brought your friends here.
No.
So we thank you
Well,
as well.
it's my brother's fault, honestly.
Very well. Carrick, when you do
Careful.
hear him introduce himself as Orgul, that name rings a bell.
Well, Orgul Bay.
It's his bay. So Orgul is technically the rightful heir to the throne of all of Hylac, and he was beseated from Vrigka with a lot of BS, and was what's thought to be dead. But he's obviously not dead.
He's obviously up here. How did he end up here?
Well, it's very nice to meet all of you.
No, seriously, Orgul, how'd you end up
Yes.
here?
Oh, forgive me. I thought you were talking out of character. You
Somebody
look very
better watch
familiar.
Cross.
Have we met before?
No, but I've heard the stories. And it's been a long time since you were gone. And now here you are.
Yes.
Long time.
You sure? Did you work in Orgul?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I did.
How long ago?
Well, for me, it was not that long ago at all. I mean, it's within a full cycle. You've been gone for a long time.
Sort of, yes. Frigga followed me in my ships, heading north. Destroyed all of our ships. I was left to die. Found some good company, and found my way up here.
So wait a minute. You're telling me Orgel of Orgel Bay was just decided to walk away?
Ha! No one walked away. When all of my soldiers and all of my people, who I thought held honor to myself, turned their back on me because of the lies and deceit of our Frigga. No, dear friend. I'm only biding my time to regain my strength. And this one, whack! He smacks Eclipse on the back. Has already agreed to help me with my reclaimed power, perhaps. At a later time.
Eclipse, is that true?
Another means to an end.
I think you guys should be whispering.
I'm not whispering.
This one always whispers. Whatever do you
What are you? Are you afraid that Frigga or RoU, the Conqueror, has power up here? He does not. He sends his spies all throughout the land, and they do not live to tell the tale that RoU lives. I will have my vengeance. Once this rhyme is gone, the 300 ships that I have in the bay will very much like to go pay him a visit. But I cannot leave until Pyriel is gone. So I wait.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah.
So Orgul desires to face a god.
No. RoU was hoping you would. As you see, one of the most powerful creatures here. Incinerated. Pyriel can bleed, so they can be killed.
I've heard that somewhere.
Have you seen Pyriel bleed?
Yes, I have.
How? Where? When?
The Artificer was challenging them. Pyriel wanted them to create some monstrosity so that Pyriel can regain control over this land. The Artificer said no. Pyriel didn't like that. There was a fight in the northeast of Travak. A lot of people died. And the crimson and blue blood that Pyriel bled dripped on the snow. If it can bleed, it can die.
But you said
But-
that
Yes.
that you brought armies, and one of the most powerful creatures in this land went up against Pyriel with armies, and you just got some blood. Is that what you're
The
saying?
armies were not there for the Artificer. The armies were there to kill the Artificer.
Oh,
And they just got in the way. You can't fight two enemies at once. And now
Well,
you
we
don't
kind
have
of
to.
did.
Did we?
But
By accident. Speaking of which, where is your friend?
which one?
The little one with the pointy teeth.
Theron. Yes, sir. Hello. I'm glad I was able to get the help that you needed.
Could have been a little faster, but there was a man, or maybe a creature, in the tower that's like
Yes?
you. He called himself Victor?
Victor. Yeah, yes, what about him?
Well, or I guess I kind of let him out.
You did what?
You're not helping him. You weren't here to help him,
No.
were you?
No. The artificer sent him out here in the towns. Victor came out and killed many people and turned them into monsters like me.
You're not a
with him.
monster.
Well, you don't look like a monster to me.
No. If you were a monster, well, this one has killed plenty already.
Wonderful.
By the way, Theron,
Yes?
when they tell about what happened here, who will you say were the ones that defeated the artificer?
Obviously, all of you. I was merely a guide, sort of. I did help get the rescuers, though. Did help a little bit.
You
Wish
did.
I could have done more.
No, you helped plenty. Just making sure.
I'm so confused on what's happening.
I've definitely learned my lesson. Whack! Yes. I'm gonna go do some things, and he turns and walks away. Yeah, he's a good kid. A luck to Carrick, by the way. You all did good here. We can save all the heavy conversations for a later day. I don't know what you plan on doing with all this stuff and whatever the hell that is over there, but it's yours. If you need help with it, if you need help selling it, it's all yours to sell. None of my men will touch it. You have my honor, my word on that.
Have you ever seen anything like this? And Eclipse is going to indicate over to the giant contraption.
Well, I've seen a few of them, yes. The artificer has army is a very loose term. A large group of Durgor that assist him with mining Rosarium. There's several different mines in the Frigid Expanse. They use machines like that to transport it from one place to another. It's made of Rosarium itself. Withstands cold weather, most magical energy. Pretty cozy, I believe. I don't want to touch it. You don't want it, I'll destroy it. That's up to you, though.
You say it's a transport.
Yes. It's a construct. Cart and buggy, I guess, is the best way to put it.
Seems rather robust.
I believe it has a couple bells and whistles in it as well. I don't mess with the magic stuff. You all can fiddle with that.
I prefer my reindeer friend for traveling, personally.
You
We
are
did
an
see
interesting character.
Kyrie?
Carry on.
Oh, we did see tracks in the snow when we were looking for you.
I can summon this. That angry little gnome gave me a trinket, and I can summon a really cool large reindeer that I'm able to ride.
So you said the word?
Well, I whispered the word.
But that worked?
Yeah, it worked.
So they said the word.
Just whisper.
She says you have to whisper it.
I'm getting real tired. Are we sleeping here or are we going somewhere else? Is the town nearby? No?
No, we're gonna be camping here for the night. So hope you all get cozy.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry about watches. My people will take care of that. You all can relax.
I have a question. So I think you said there were like 100 or more people who were like in cages when we were in the towers. So there's just like a camp of 100 plus.
There is a gaggle of people. Yes, there is quite a bit of people.
There's geese? I'm so excited.
Gaggle of geese.
That was a military.
I would immediately herd them around and put them in a pen for safety.
There are quite a bit of
Everyone's
tents.
safety.
This is a very, very big tent city. So this is a very big encampment. There are over 100 people, and they did find a few more survivors as well. There is quite a bit of fires and camps, and people are trying to stay as warm as possible. But yeah, there is quite a bit of people out here.
And what kind of stuff did we get?
So I can tell you all that later offline, but you got a huge crate of weapons and items. There's a crate of trinkets and coins, and there's a crate
It's a whole bunch of stuff.
I was gonna say I wanted to look through it, but I guess we'll wait so we don't have to sit here and go through it all online.
No, you guys can go through it. But so as you guys are contemplating this before going to sleep and kind of sifting through all of the loot, we're gonna take a break. Go ahead and enter. Fuck it, we'll do loot. Enter loot in the chat for our mid-show.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's loot, not loot.
Yes.
LOOT for this awesome loot. Go ahead and enter that in the chat for your chance to win a Rime of the Frost Maiden D&D Beyond book code, and we'll give that away in about 15 minutes. So we'll take a 15-minute break, and we'll see you guys soon. Bye, everybody. I wasn't sure if you were actually doing the right count. Doesn't matter. Congratulations, Malkara Darkwell. Darkwell. If you are in the Twitch chat, you need to shout out and say something, and then join the Discord and hit me up on Discord, and I'll give you that code.
And
if you don't claim it,
dinner.
If you don't claim it in the live Twitch chat here in the next 3 or 4 minutes, we will have to pick another winner. Hopefully, you come back.
But as we dinner.
As we settle back down and you all are all kind of sifting through all of the loot, everyone give me an investigation check.
I don't think I've rolled above a 10 tonight.
Oh, mine froze.
Natural 20.
And it gave me a crap number.
Nice.
Dang. 26.
I like how all of you ended up rolling to the same spot, but mine was like the weird offset one off to the side.
Natural 20, baby.
I have a whopping 11.
11. Okay. We got enough high rolls to kind of sift it out, and we did do one roll during the break as well. So Kiwin did find in the box of books the Lost Chapter 26 of the Interesting Stories.
The most important quest in this entire campaign.
Yeah, I mean,
Janice's lost story.
Life is she's got her brother. She's found the book.
She's fulfilled.
There are several other books in that crate. A lot of them are just fiction novels and things that it seems that maybe the artificer was reading in his free time. There are a couple books that talk about constructs.
Casual reader.
So there are 2 books of constructs. If someone wants to write those down to take a look at a later time. There's a lot of images and drawings and diagrams of several different machines. And it looks like there are 2 kind of raggedy spell books that are also in this pile. They are both locked at the moment, but they are spell books nonetheless.
When one says locked
for plot armor.
Okay.
There's like an arcane lock on it. Wizards do that to protect their stuff. DMs do it because he didn't prepare any spells to tell you what was in the book.
I had to ask because if Eclipse saw a lock, he would try to pick it.
I don't know. Eclipse, you might have to do like a save every time you want to pick a lock now.
I thought it was an arcane lock.
Burn.
Yeah.
It is an arcane lock.
Yeah. That's why I said nope.
In the trinket container, there are an assortment of about 50 very nice trinkets, just random assorted things, nothing too fancy. There is 535 gold pieces. Oh my god.
I love that book.
Our hat tip to Critical Role Tusk Love.
Mm-hmm.
There is whatever I said, 500 something gold pieces.
534.
I heard 5.
There is
35.
337 silver pieces, 10 rings, and 4 necklaces.
Did you say 537 or 137?
537.
You know, an average shopping day for one of
535,
these.
337 silver, 535 gold.
Yes. Yes.
10
lot of
rings
beer.
and how many necklaces?
4.
4. This is what happens when I roll.
And
for what
golden
the items are.
ring.
I don't
It
remember.
happens
what I
to
just
me
said.
too. I say it and it's gone.
It's gone. It's gone
Catch
forever.
it while I say it because.
VOD. And then in the last crate, there is an assortment of very nice weapons and armor and other things of that nature that could be later
Leather
identified.
armor?
There is leather armor. There is chain armor. There are some There are several bracers in there. There's a lot of magic items in this thing. What do you guys want to do? The night is yours. It's probably 10 o'clock at night at this point.
I want to go to bed. I'm tired.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a fair amount of drinking going on. I think it's time to crash out for the night.
You all... Oh, good.
This one still struggles to comprehend, but Nafoko is still in there.
You know, I was thinking that when we found, if Kiwin showed me that she found Janice's book, that would probably have brought Nafoko back to the front.
Absolutely.
Because she was just so excited about this. It's so important to Nafoko, her best friend Janice. Kiwin and I
When
are just
Kiwin grows
disaster.
old, she wants to come back to Trevok and just. I mean, Janice would be dead by then, but she doesn't know that.
Maybe we'll figure it out by then, but
she'll bring her back just so she can live the rest
She'll
of her
speak with the
days.
dead, who knows?
I think old age is one of the ones you're not supposed to be able to come back from. I think.
No, it's true. It's
Yeah.
true.
Anyway, but yeah, so I think actually, like, Nafoko is back in her usual form. I am still in here, Eclipse. And Nafiko's sort of like looking at the ground and sort of looking at you and looking at the ground and seems very uncertain of where she stands with you, even though you said what you said earlier.
Eclipse is just kind of looking at her, not really saying anything. Just kind of awkwardly looking at her.
Eclipse, you know I care about you a lot, right?
Of course. This one cares very much about Nafoko as well. That's why it's very difficult to understand what happens now.
That's fair. I don't really know what happens now either. I mean, the only person who knew anything really about what was done to me is dead, which I think is on the whole a good thing. But I mean, seems like we're probably stuck like this for a while anyway, till we can find maybe somebody who understands.
You are Nafoko, and you are light.
And like other people too. It's quite a lot, isn't it? It's noisy.
Let this one process those two for now. The others can come later.
That's fair. Enjoy just processing those two. Nafoko says, not trying to be salty, but just a little.
Just know that this one said some harsh things back there, but this one cannot hate Nafoko.
I needed to hear that. I really don't know what I would do if you did. Can I give you a hug? You can say no.
Everyone with these hugs today, here, before this one changes their mind.
Nafiko just gives you a big ol' hug.
And Eclipse awkwardly returns it.
Okay. And she, gives you your space. And then she's... Oh, are you wandering off? Sorry.
Oh, me? No, yep. We should probably get some rest.
Yep. Agreed. We probably should. I wanted to ask Kyriel something, though. As she wanders over towards Kyriel.
Does her eyelids look different?
My
she look the same?
My face has gone back to normal at this point. So it's just the blue again.
Okay.
So you were copying down some of the scars, right?
You saw that?
Well, I saw you scribbling and you were looking at my scars and then scribbling, so I...
So you're aware when one of your others is talking?
Oh, yeah, we sort of share... Yeah, I am aware. A lot of it will just sort of take a back seat. I don't know, sometimes they're quiet. Sometimes they're all trying to say something. And we can sort of look through each other's memories a little bit. It's sort of strange.
But you're more of the collective of all of them? Or... Because you're not a piece. You're something else. Someone else.
Yep. I can't say I understand the mechanics, but I mean, I guess I just started existing when he locked away all of the other people to hide what he did. I don't really know why he kept me alive. It seemed like he didn't really care once I was there. Maybe he had other plans. I mean, something changed him. I mean, he was mad and pretty evil beforehand, but he didn't seem to enjoy killing people the same way. He just didn't care about others. He seemed to enjoy it this time, and lying about things like Carrick's family and
makes me wonder what else he could have been lying about.
I sort of wonder about what he said to Eclipse, actually. About the parents. Because Fax remembers when they found Light, and that there were a bunch of Tabaxis who were with slavers, and her parents were probably there, but she only ever saw the slavers getting tortured and experimented on. The rest of the Tabaxi, aside from Light, just disappeared, and I mean, she looks over at the ruins. Obviously, he could have had other places. He kept them, but it also wasn't a time when he seemed to enjoy killing people, and he was talking about how much he enjoyed it.
Do you think he could have made others like you?
Well, I mean, he did experiments before he made me, but I think I was sort of the culmination of his research, but I mean, anything could have happened in the following 2 years.
Yes, I did write down the symbols that I saw on your face. I mean, you can take a look if you want to.
Oh, I wouldn't understand what any of it meant, but I was hoping that, I don't know if maybe you did.
No. They definitely look magical in nature, but I don't quite understand them just yet. I'm sure I could figure it out if I just did a little research. I have so much research to do.
Well, if you figure anything out, especially, maybe in the how to undo any of it or what was done, I think it would be right to set everybody free if I could.
Well, what does everybody want? Is that something that everybody wants? Or is that just something that you want because you feel guilty?
I don't think anyone could really want being trapped inside somebody else's body and having to hope that sometimes they can get control.
But it's still a way to live.
I mean, I'm sure they'd rather be like this than dead, I think. Let me take a poll.
Light has got to be with her brother again. In some form or another.
It's true.
That's something. And if we undid this, if there was a way, then it really would be goodbye forever.
It would. But I can't. Well, we're not at that decision point yet, but it
It's a lot to think about.
It is. But I don't want to be anybody's prison.
Yeah. It's a lot to be. It's a big burden. I can't imagine.
It's very strange. Anyway, well, seems like probably nothing else to learn tonight, so I should probably sleep. It's been such a long day.
Yeah. Very long day.
Okay. So you all do eventually buckle down, stay close. A lot of new friends, old friends together. You do get the effects of a long rest. So go ahead and give yourselves that.
Could I cast Sending before we do that?
Yes, absolutely.
I was looking to see how many Sending spell slots I had left, and I've got plenty. There's somebody I figured would want to know about this. So I'm going to cast Sending to Samanji to kind of let her know what's going on. So we just took out someone called the Artificer. He seemed to know about you. He may have had a hand in helping the White Cloaks. You okay?
A few moments go by, and she responds. Cariella, are you okay? Things are crazy here. The White Cloaks have taken over several different establishments in cities on the eastern coast. We're moving west. Eventually trying to get to Nightcrest. I believe there's a good fortification there. Be safe.
I just remembered that we thought Tutan was supposed to be in the Artificer's Tower. Look at that.
I never. Well, okay, so.
Or were you?
Yeah, because you kind of said that he might have been, but might not have been because there were two different. Yeah.
There were
could have been, could not have been. Right, and one of them could not
An
was
older
with
one
White
and a younger
Cloaks.
one. Yeah.
Right. But we weren't sure if
it was the same two together or if it was, so.
We just know we chased Teuton's tracks into the portal.
Yes. Yeah, and he's somewhere.
Yeah, there's a good chance he might be in the camp.
Guess he never checked.
Not yet.
A lot of stuff happened after we got out, so.
Just a few things. Just a few things. But you do get that response. Is there anything anyone else wants to do before you go to sleep?
Cuddling up next to Elskon, and a fire, and my brother, and going to bed.
Okay.
I feel like I should be making a check for if I can sleep, because even with a lot's happened, but it's a lot of people in my head. I don't know.
A lot of people.
What is a can I fall asleep with all of this DC? Oh, that's not a good roll.
Oh no, I'm so worried. What's happening?
It's just a can I take a long rest roll kind of thing.
Yeah, apparently
I
Eclipse
feel like
isn't doing much better at this point.
Gotta respect that fiction. It feels correct. It's a lot of people who need to. A lot of internal discussions, I think, happening inside Nafika right now.
Taking that poll.
What do you want to do in the event that we could? Rip. I guess I'll take a point of exhaustion then.
It's up to you.
So Eclipse tosses and turns a bit, unable to really find restful sleep. And at some point during the night, probably, what is the sleeping arrangement here? Are we just like intense or?
Whatever you're wanting. So there.
Bubble.
If she does the bubble, then it's very comfortable and with tense.
Yes, I still had a slot open for that too.
Got it. Well, if that was the case, then probably at some point in the night, Eclipse probably turns and just kind of glances in the direction of Nafiko/Light.
I think at some point she gives up on sleeping and is just like sitting with her back against the wall, and like Tyvar's out and she's petting him. But I think her eyes are probably closed because she's having some internal discussion. So you can tell she's awake, but she's not. She doesn't notice you. Your move.
And probably just continues to process everything that just happened over the last 24 hours. And still adapting to what this means, basically. My once dead but not dead sister, who also happens to be the first person that I actually considered a friend, but yeah.
All rolled into one.
Very complicated.
Okay. So if you both are not sleeping, and you will take a point of exhaustion.
Yep.
Everyone else, you can get the effects of the long rest. You both do toss and turn a little bit, and in the morning, you obviously will wake up probably a little earlier than the rest. If there's anything you all want to do before everyone else wakes up, go for it. If not, you all wake the next morning.
So
if we don't rest, I'm assuming we also don't heal our hit die, right?
No.
Yep.
No.
Cool.
You're still, yeah, that's what I was
Yep.
getting at. Like, you are still.
I have no spell slots. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so sorry.
No, it's all right.
I can sleep. I'm gonna count it as a short rest, but it was an attempt at rest.
Well, but at least a short rest, you'd be able to like get some stuff back.
Yeah,
I think I'd allow that.
for us.
I think within the 6 hours of you trying to sleep, there's an hour of rest in there, you can do some hit die. I'll let you do that.
Use those hit dice.
Of course. I'm thankfully I'm not that hurt because I took a short rest when I tried to sleep the last time as well. So I think I used all my hit die then. That might be a fun.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and heal up for 13. That's not bad.
Just
Only gonna use one?
die.
Okay.
All right.
So it is the next day. What do you guys want to do?
So what are the massive amounts of people doing?
They're all starting to kind of help pack things up. There are several other carts that people who can't walk are piling into, and everyone's kind of getting ready to start their journey back south to the town.
Upon waking up, I want to kind of wander away from everyone and cast Sending to Neck.
Okay. So you get away from everybody, and you get to a place where you feel like you can communicate with him. What would you like to say?
Well, there's another reason why I left, but
Oh yeah.
yeah. So I will cast Sending, and I'll just be like, "Hey there, I almost died yesterday, but I didn't. Found my brother, still in the really cold area. Hope you're doing well."
Kiwin, hi. I'm glad you didn't die. That would make me very sad. We're okay here. A big army came up to Nightcrest to do military things to help protect people. We're getting ready to go south to the larger city. All the civilians are moving south to Ute. Be safe.
All right.
Then I guess we better pack it up and start moving.
Well, where do we go next?
You two look awfully tired. Did you not sleep?
I'm
Yeah,
fine.
that pretty much answers it right there. Great. That's just what we need. A couple of tired party members.
Real quick, after I did the did the Sending, I would take out my my figure to bring out Vaughn.
When you do that, you see your brother poke up. They kind of look around a little confused, just for no reason. He just sensed a disturbance in the force.
He just sensed a disturbance.
But you all do see Kiwin kind of off in the distance, and poof, this giant reindeer appears out of nowhere.
And then I'll bring my reindeer over to my friends.
Okay. This big old reindeer shows up.
This is Vaughn, everyone. This is my new reindeer friend.
Oh, he very handsome. She's very handsome.
You got a knack for making friends.
To be fair, I don't think it actually has a gender, but it's decided to appear as a female. So, yeah.
No, that's very relatable.
It doesn't have the male bits. So.
Mm-hmm.
Was somebody giggling in the background?
I just heard my wife delayed react to that. That's very relatable. I'm 90% sure that's what she was laughing at.
Oh, that was the best. I was like, somebody's laughing in the background at this. I appreciate that.
I mean, the 12-year-old in me was just giggling at boy bits, but
We're all giggling at something.
Yep.
What is gender really? I mean, why is one person a gender? I just, they told me I was a woman and they called me she. I don't know. I went along with it. It seemed fine.
All right.
Say, do
So
what
we
you
have a
wanna
giant
do, right?
reindeer.
Yeah, and I can ride on it, and I guess I'll put Elskon in the necklace. And I figured, brother, if you want, I think we can get 2 people on here. Oh, we don't have our axe beaks anymore.
Speaking of which, point of order, DM, whatever happened to Owl Friend?
She's up in the tree.
Okay.
They are up in the tree. Excuse me.
This whole time.
Just, yeah. Cool.
Just chilling in the tree.
Just wrote this down.
So while you all are kind of packing up your things, I was about to say Nyko. Roland comes up and says, well, I did decide to make myself useful. I identified these items you have here for you all to use, I guess, at your disposal.
Well,
If you all would like to know what they are, prepare to copy.
Hey, players, get your notebooks out.
There is an elven chain, elven chain mail. There is some very fancy glamored studded leather.
Ooh, I want that.
There is adamantium armor. This is just regular. I lost it. It's scale mail. And if you don't know what adamantium, adamantium scale mail, which means you can't be critted on ever. There is a ring of mind shielding, a ring of protection, a ring of frost resistance. No, excuse me. Ring of radiant resistance. There is a ring of spell storing.
Oh my god.
A ring of swimming. A ring of the ram. I love that item so much.
Oh, Carrick needs that one.
There is an amulet of health.
Wow.
A brooch of shielding. An amulet of proof against detection and location. Bracer of flying daggers.
I know who that belongs to.
A bracer of archery.
I don't know who that is. Uh-oh.
Well, Carrick uses a crossbow.
Yeah, I just...
Bracers of defense. A cloak.
The wizard smiles.
Cloak of elven kind. A cape of the Mont Blanc.
Oh, I love that cape.
And a mace of terror.
Wonder who that's going to.
I wonder.
These are all the items of note. Everything else could be sold. All the trinkets are shit. But yes.
Rollin.
Sister.
What? Just throwing out such nasty words.
Oh,
Tarban was doing so earlier as well.
and she was what?
No, I was not.
But your friend's here. You showed us
you
your friend.
tell.
She had to say a bad word to make the friend appear.
She had
No.
to say a naughty word. Ooh, what would Mama say
Technically,
about that?
it's... Roland,
Hey.
technically it's not a naughty word. Technically, it's 2 words that, when said next to each other, could be a bad word.
Whatever
and
makes
what-
the
and what would
tolerance
that
sleep at
be?
night.
I'm not going to repeat it right now.
Please, By all
I've
means, your
already
friends have heard you say this. I would
No.
love to hear you say
They
this
have
again.
not heard me say
We have
it.
not heard her say it. We just know that she has to say it back.
You were supposed to go with me? Gosh.
Yes, and
Well, this is the word. I'll show them the piece of paper. This is the word.
Oh.
2 words, and you could put them together. But there's a space in between there.
Mom would be
Brother.
very disappointed.
Eclipse, this is all your fault.
Yeah. In a small
Oh
way,
my
this
God.
one likes to keep the memory of light alive. Of course, that's apparently not necessary anymore, but
Well, I
one would say you're
want,
some kind of light bringer then.
I want this glamored studded leather armor, if everyone's okay with that.
I think somebody else trademarked the Lightbringers.
Yeah, you guys can divvy it out how you want. A lot of that
Mhm.
stuff's attuned, so you can only have so many.
All right.
You can do it now, you can do it later, no big deal.
Bracers!
About that time... What's that?
Can I have the ring of protection?
I'm sorry. Was that? Can we get a repeat of that from the Squishy Wizard?
Bracers! I need them.
Which ones?
Them to me.
Bracers!
Bracers.
Oh,
My precious.
I think mind shielding would probably be a good one for Carrick, so that it's harder to, or possibly Eclipse, one of those two, so that it's harder for random enemies to just take them over and have them attack the party.
Yeah.
Oh, the mind shielding?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that.
I would put it on one of them.
I have
Yes,
a
ma'am.
question.
I have all the
If
items
somebody-
up if you have questions about
If
those.
somebody tried to do that to Nafako, could it take over one of the
Oh my God.
brains, or is it the collective?
They are one brain, but they are multiple
Okay.
personalities. Is the way that
Yeah.
I think we, unless I'm speaking incorrectly enough.
She's
it's
schizophrenous.
still one creature with one brain,
Yeah.
one heart, one thing. It just was like made with multiple souls, which means it has multiple
Souls.
personalities.
Oh,
Yeah,
not
I mean, I
schizo?
think that's why we can all access each other's memories, and we sort of like we're all sort
It's the
of
same
present
memory
for
bank.
it.
It just was downloaded by multiple people.
There's
Not
some weird.
schizo or schizo.
Can I have the
Okay.
the
Just in
Montabonk
plural.
cake?
The same hard drive.
Oh
Just
my
multiple
God.
computers were backed up.
That's
to it.
perfect, straight. Please.
I love the Montabonk game so much.
These
You're gonna wear a
seem
cape.
And you took the
fascinating.
glamored studded.
There's only one of us
studded
that
leather
wears
too?
a cape, really.
Can I
Okay.
get the adamantium scale mill? Maybe? I don't know. Maybe I don't want that. I don't know. Let me think
Well,
about
there's elven chain and then the adamantium scale mail.
that. Oh, yeah, I guess I'm wearing chainmail.
Are we just taking all this stuff?
Yeah,
It's all
We're
yours.
taking
You can do what
what
you want.
Yeah.
we can sell whatever we don't use.
What's
Someone else can
your
take it.
health?
It sets your constitution score to 19, so someone else can take that because mine's already 19.
What does?
The amulet of health.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow. Carrot?
Eclipse
Yeah.
is fascinatingly examining the bracers of flying daggers.
Yeah, and the archer for me, the bracers of archery.
I imagine.
Yeah, I think
there's.
wizard definitely.
I really
has
like the
wizard.
amulet of health too. That's pretty awesome.
It seems a little less clumsy than the bow.
My AC just popped up to 15. I'm so excited.
Oh, so down for
What
that.
was the ram?
I'm done.
It's fun.
It's pretty ridiculous, but yeah, you
Yeah.
can look at that.
Does the elven chainmail count as magical?
What do you mean? In what regard?
Well, because like magic items automatically fit, right? No matter who.
Yeah,
you are,
yeah,
so,
yeah. No,
like-
it's green. No, it's rare, so it's blue. So yeah, it's magic.
Okay, I will take the elven chainmail if nobody objects.
Go for it.
Go for it.
It's useful with all of these random shifts that could happen to have something that will adjust.
Then the adamantium would probably go to Carrick then.
The cloak of Elvenkind would probably be good for a rogue.
Nafako is great in a fight, but stealth was never the strong suit to begin with, so he's not an issue.
I have disadvantage on stealth.
Yeah, me too.
What is this cloak?
Cloak of Elvenkind gives you
Advantage on stealth checks.
Yeah.
Oh. I see. So we're basically just trying to figure out a million different ways that we can make Eclipse 100% invisible.
It's true. You already have greater invisibility. I don't know how much more.
Also,
Maybe we
when-
should give it to one of the.
When you have the hood up on the cloak, checks made to see you have a disadvantage.
Okay. So what's been claimed? We have
Yeah,
the elven. We have all the armor.
This one still only has brief understandings of the magics and doesn't really trust it to skill.
Does our wizard want the spell storing ring, or does our cleric want the spell storing?
Oh no, I'm good.
I'll take it.
All right.
Cast and sending in that? No, just fireball.
Honestly, that might not be a bad idea. Just
Well,
store
so
your
how
extra
many-
sendings in there.
How many spells? How many slots
2.
does it have?
I think
it
it's
should
2.
stay because it's
I
a.
think
Well, no,
it's a dice roll.
No, it's. I think it's depending on what spells you put in there. So it's.
No, like how many spells I can put in it.
It contains six levels of spells. So it could be 1 6th level. It could be 2 3.
Yep.
Okay, it says 1d6 minus 1 levels of stored spells chosen by the DM.
Yeah, I've already got 3 attunements.
There's nothing in it at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
5 levels worth of spells though.
Yeah. You guys 5, not 6. You're right.
I can be 6.
I have room for 2 more attunements.
Did you got the adamantium armor, I believe.
Who did?
You.
Me?
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought Nafika wanted it.
Oh, I'm taking the elven armor.
Yeah.
The elven
Oh.
chainmail.
Okay.
You want me to put that in your character sheet?
I definitely want the amulet of health if it's available. The bracers of archery, and I have no idea what the ram thing was. I missed it. I missed part of that.
You might
Ring
be
of
out
Ram.
of
Well, I only have 2 right now spots for attunement because I have the ring of warmth on right now.
Mm-hmm. Can I?
and this is adamantium scale mail. Is that an attuned thing? It's not attuned. Whoa. All right.
Yeah, most armor
Yep.
isn't an attuned thing.
Because right now I just have chainmail, and it's currently making me a disadvantage on stealth.
Can I get the brooch of shielding? So no.
Huh?
Can I get the brooch of, or I guess the party? Can I get the brooch of shielding?
Go for it.
All right.
Kai, there was also a ring of protection too, if you wanted to add more, but I think you were maxed out. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm maxed out.
Has someone
it
already
prime?
claimed the Ring of Mind Shielding?
Nobody has.
Did I say ring of featherfall?
No.
No.
Oh, it's on here. So
You
yeah.
said
that's
ring
on
of
there, too.
swimming.
Oh, I guess I skipped ring of featherfall. Yeah, there is a ring of featherfalling too.
Wow, there's a lot of stuff.
There is a lot of
Oh,
stuff.
it's a lot of
Ring
stuff.
I think we take these items and we can wear what we can, and the rest of them we can alternate if we feel like that's going to be a good thing.
We have a car now.
We have a what?
A car. Lots of trunk
A
space.
car.
A car.
Oh, right.
Vroom vroom. Car.
If no one
What
wants
is
the
a
ring of
car?
protection, I'll take it because my armor class sucks.
Oh, that's
Which
right.
one?
That's right, because you've been minus to dex.
Yeah.
Yeah, take it. Take it.
Carrick, what else did you get? You got the bracers of archery. You got the armor.
Yeah, and I was asking about the amulet of health, and I keep asking about the ram. I don't know, what was it again?
Oh, the
I just know
ring
that
of- ring of
If you take the
Ariel,
amulet of
April-
health, you
April
can't
laughed.
attune to the ram
What?
anymore.
What are you talking about?
Uh,
The ram? Oh, so it lets you use it to so it has 1 to 3 charges, or you spend 1 to 3 charges to hit something within like 60 feet or something of you with an attack. It's basically like an extra ranged attack that packs a big punch. I would have to look it up.
Again,
I've got it open.
I can be attuned to certain things at certain times and still have it in my inventory, so it's not a big
Yeah.
issue there, right? I mean,
yeah, you
I
can
can
change.
I can add it to your thing.
Yeah.
so I ended up getting like 3 or 4 things. I don't know about everybody else, but
No, I got a bunch of stuff. I'm good.
Mind shielding was supposed to be for one of us to
think-
not flip out on everybody else.
Eclipse claim that.
Yes.
Eclipse claimed it. Okay.
This one has spent enough time being someone else's puppet.
And Kiwin, you took spell storing?
I took spell storing, yeah.
So there's a ring of protection. There's a ring of
I got the ring of protection too.
Ring of resistance to radiant. Ring of swimming. Brooch of shielding.
I took the brooch.
Of shielding?
Yes.
Got it. Amulet of proof against detection and location. Bracers of flying daggers went to Eclipse.
Yep.
Cloak of Elvenkind is still in the pot. Oh, you took that too?
I think Eclipse took that.
Mace of Terror.
I will take that if.
Oh, okay.
It's not a big one.
I got things already.
One-hand one.
Yeah, because you're a two-handed, and this is.
Yeah, I got my
one-handed.
big maul.
Because
Yeah,
and it's a ram's head maul. That's why I was wondering what the whole ram thing was about.
Oh, that's interesting. Ooh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, my maul.
There might be
rams.
there might be a certain magic spell person who helped with Nafako that might be able to combine the two items.
Kiwin.
No, it wasn't she? She was.
No, she was helping transfer the shield magic from one shield
but
to her
she knew she did your memory thing is what I was
Yeah.
talking about. But yeah, same thing. She could combine those items into your mace.
Yes.
Cool.
I'm gonna take the amulet of proof against detection and location for reasons.
Avoiding parent reasons.
I'm not gonna attune to it, but I'm gonna have it just in case I do need it eventually.
Sweet.
Good.
All right.
All things we can figure out.
Okay.
Mhm.
So, fun things about giving your party members a big loot of stuff. They have to
We gotta
decide.
figure
all
this.
of it.
Exciting!
I'll take the
A
ring of
noble nerd
resistance if
wins-
nobody else
wins
wants
prize.
What?
I'll take the ring of
Noble nerd
radiant
wins the
resistance
prize.
if nobody else wants it.
Go for it.
But-
I've got 2 rings already. I think I'm ringed out.
Cool.
I mean, you have 8 other fingers, but yeah, there's only so many attuned items. You can...
Exactly. I maxed attuned items now.
Got it.
Okay, I just saw an idea in the chat from Noble Nerd, and I think that we might have to figure.
Well, that's what I was talking about. Was,
Yeah, okay.
She can infuse that into your thing.
Yeah, that would be utterly epic.
The tall one has reached their limit on trinkets. They prefer those that require dirty words for activation.
Eclipse, you're teasing her.
She wasn't even paying attention.
She wasn't,
What?
so it's fine. This is funny.
What's happening?
Oh, that's amazing.
Oh my god.
Well, I'm gonna have to watch the VOD to see what I missed. God
You just
darn it.
Eclipse was just teasing you a little bit.
Yeah, Eclipse was just
Great.
giving Kiwin a hard time.
Kiwin's looking at all of her fancy new things.
Lots of things. Okay, so about this time, Orgul does walk up.
Well, we're gonna start heading south. We'll make it back to town. Please. We'll finish the conversation we started earlier. Yeah.
Yeah.
Be safe.
Wait a second. Why are we heading south?
He's heading
They're
south
heading
with
south.
all the people to go back to town.
I know, but Kiwin doesn't know where she is.
Oh,
Right.
that's fair.
Oh, you have the map, right?
Yeah. And I'll pull it out.
So we're like here, we're north of the mountains. Somehow the hurricane blew you over the mountains. Isn't that wild?
Gosh darn it. What? I was going north because I thought that's where I had to go.
I know, yeah.
Was I going? No, I wasn't going north. I was
You were going west. East?
northeast.
East. Yeah.
Well,
Mhm.
Gosh,
in a certain sense,
really got myself in a sticky situation.
well, in a certain sense, your misdirection brought us to where we needed to be.
That is true. I got my brother now. And this terrible,
like-
for
terrible
what
guy is
it's
gone now.
for what it's worth, glad you're okay.
Well, thank you, Eclipse. I'm glad you're okay.
Yes, we're all glad you're okay after that stunt you pulled. No,
I thought
Krista
you
isn't,
were
please.
all. I thought you were all gonna die.
We
I'm
were
gonna go
pretty
behind that
close.
tree over there.
Oh yeah, it's good to get it out before we hit the road for sure.
Does everyone else need a potty break?
You know,
before
actually,
we
I
get
do.
going?
Just kidding.
Hey, catch you in a minute, Solo.
Cool. I'll just
we
hang out.
all just leave Solo here alone.
And we're just taking a break.
Just
He's gonna
him,
drink
just
his
him
Rip
in
It.
the chat. Just him in the chat.
Ask him lore questions while we take it.
I am going to hop on Vaughn. I'm gonna put Elsgon in the necklace.
Are we taking that thing over there?
Let's take that thing.
Do you know how to operate it?
Does it work?
No.
What is
I
it?
thought you all did.
I'm sure we could figure it out, right?
It's an adventure.
Should I put Vaughn away?
Sure.
Gosh.
They can ride on top.
Well, I don't think I have to say anything to de-summon
You
her,
do,
right?
actually. I believe that's how it works, yes.
Well, I think I'll just ride her around for the 8 hours until she poofs away.
Do you need to step behind a tree? To,
No.
just say
Potty
a
break?
word.
I wonder if there's a way I can change the word, right? I feel like there should be a way that I can change it.
The tall one should just go
Right?
behind a tree, use their potty mouth, and move on.
It's fine, it's fine. You do whatever you have to do. I'm gonna go check this machine out. And then you watch as Roland walks towards the machine.
So
And Eclipse follows with a sense of curiosity.
Same.
I'm curious about Roland, since I am patient 0 of having my mind fucked with, and do I get a sense of anything that's going on with him?
You can do an insight check. Kai and Eclipse be a perception check for me.
Not Arcana?
No, this is for something different.
No.
It's a
Perception will be-
14 for me.
For perception.
19 perception.
Okay. So I just blanked. What was your question? Oh, if you trust him. He definitely.
Oh no, not
seems
if I trust
off.
it.
Well, it's different than what yours is, right? So you see the physical change, but he had reverted, and now it looks like he's evolving again. So it seems like it's a similar thing. He's still the same person. He's just evolving into something different. And with the knowledge you know about Roland from Keywin, is he was just a normal Fearbulk fighter, spears and stuff, but now he's using magic. But he only uses the magic when he is kind of evolved into this new Ico version of himself.
Yeah, I guess I'm just wondering because with the physical changes, if I sense that there's is it another person was used in his creation sort of deal, or is it something different? Because originally I was centered on a real person too.
Yeah. Your best guess right now, this is still Roland, but something was done to his chemical makeup of his body to give him magical powers, because he didn't have magical powers before, but now he does. So it was like creating a mutant kind of thing, like creating his own superhero. Kind of.
So I guess Keywin's gonna go behind a tree and whisper to de-summon Vaughn.
And what do you say?
Do it.
Your own grandmother would be very disappointed in you. And Roland just appears out of nowhere, and he's like, I knew it. I knew you were going to do it.
Get out of here!
And Eclipse and I are sneaking up behind. We were watching. We knew his plan. Eclipse is very stealthy.
The very good major image of Nico that was walking that you two were following that Eclipse saw, but you didn't. So he kind of like in a flicker, he looked at the Eclipse and went shh, and then went invisible, and then ran over to Kiwin.
Leave me alone.
I will let her know that your mouth is dirty. Unbelievable.
So spicy.
He just runs up and gives you a big hug.
I'm only teasing.
Hug
We're in the
you
real
back.
world. Fuck him.
And then he runs away over to the rest of them.
Appalling language.
I mean, I've never.
Maybe that's her problem.
Oh my god.
She's like an 18, not even. She's like a 16-year-old, basically.
Oh
Except
my
technically
God.
she's what? Like,
She's technically like the equivalent of like a 16,
right, but she's
Year-old.
actually like what?
28.
30.
Okay.
Throughout all
But
of this,
30 is like the 18-year-old.
Oh, I got you.
For humans, so.
Yeah.
through,
The
throughout
child
all of
50
this,
is still a baby.
Eclipse actually ends up cracking a genuine smile.
And you do see a different side of Roland now. Like he seems a little bit more playful than he was
They
before.
always played tricks on each other, so it
And
makes
he
sense.
kind of gives Eclipse a nudge as he kind of runs back. Well, we survived a tower. Let's see if this thing will kill us. Yes.
Sounds
Great.
like a plan.
Love that optimism.
I want to touch it.
I want to bring back.
Okay.
I want to bring Elston back out.
On the way back to the device, Eclipse almost just kind of says under his breath, "He almost forgot what it was like to have a family."
Oh. So many feels.
Okay.
And now
so
back
you
to
go up and
tinkering with this device.
Yes. So Kai, you go up and you touch the machine, and as you touch it, you kind of feel like a zing, and you watch as a door opens.
Bazinga.
I wanted to touch it and cast Identify.
Oh.
Because it's a thing.
Identify tells you the School of Magic.
Oh, no, it tells me how to use it and everything.
Identify as everything. Detect
Mhm,
magic. Tells you
yep.
it's cool.
Yeah, so
Okay.
it's I choose an object that I can touch throughout the casting of the ritual, and it it tells me the properties, how to use it, whether it requires attunement. I mean, it's a vehicle. I assume not,
It
but-
is a vehicle, and it does actually require attunement. One person attunes to this machine, and that one person can drive it. And the one person can allow whoever they want, kind of similar to your spell, into the machine. And it is not currently attuned, which is why.
You gave us a shit ton of things to attune to, so we're like, no, we have to.
Well,
list
no,
the
like
properties."
well, when I say attune, it not like it doesn't take an attunement slot in your inventory. It just
Okay.
requires one person to claim it. We'll use the word claim it.
Any volunteers?
Well, Kyriel is the one who understands it.
I know how to use it.
Kyriel, I completely understand. I mean, I think it makes sense because you know how to use it for you to attune to it, for lack of a better word. Unless you don't want to.
Is there 2 seats in the front?
I think there's like 10 seats in the front.
Is there a shotgun?
I get to be Batman. This is my Batmobile.
You're a Batwoman.
It's the honker's mobile.
Batman.
I was gonna call
Batman.
shotgun and then realized that makes me Robin, so I'm gonna hold off on that.
Actually, you know what? Nope. It's a honka truck.
So I'm looking at my little diagram of it. There are 6 seats in the front, and there are more seats in the back. So there's like a sleeping quarters with 10 racks. There's like a living space.
Huge.
Oh, it's huge. There's like a living space, and then there's the front spot.
It really is. We got a tour bus.
Kind of. I mean, it's a big fucking thing. Look, you see how big this mini is? Like,
well, yeah, but how big is my mini compared
look how
to that?
big it is compared to a person, guys. Like, it's huge.
Yeah,
It's huge. And mine in this game is a little bit bigger than this. So
Goodness.
So Kai, are you claiming it?
I guess so.
Okay.
I'm gonna be Batman.
So you sit in the driver's seat, and you kind of just sit there and you think on it. Takes about an hour, and you think on it, and you watch as this very brass, very rustic machine turns into. You watch as if by magic, the walls of this space turn into like a deep, deep blue, with accents of purple and pink in it. And you watch as this whole thing kind of shifts, and it looks like it feels like it's an extension of your body. And then the whole thing kind of fires up and it starts to move a little bit.
This thing has a lot of power.
Sure
This
sounds
one
like it.
Can imagine so. Does the magician understand how to move it?
You do?
Can I
you catch
rev
it
the
down?
engine?
You can.
Rev the engine. Wouldn't it
What is
just be
that
more like a
noise?
Tesla, just sort of like?
It's a little loud, but as you kind of get into it and you hear the in the back, it goes like it's very quiet actually.
Oh.
And as it starts to like, it just generally kind of moves forward a little bit, and you kind of get that sensation that the outside is, and you can kind of look like you can see through the windows, and you see Roland in the back who grabs some leather straps from one of the seats and kind of ties it off. You kind of look outside, and the outside, which was that really ugly like brown and like bronze, is now mostly white. It's not invisible, but it is definitely camouflaged on the outside.
Pretty
Nice.
cool.
So cool.
I will follow my brother's lead and strap myself in, I suppose.
Okay. So, where do you guys want to go?
So are we dropping off?
Was your seatbelt stuck?
Space object work.
How many
are we-
times could we break the DM today? So many.
Good question. Oh, we really broke him this time.
Oh my god! Just because he was
That's
just being so subtle about it, he was just like, and then oh my god, oh my god. Oh, you remember the seatbelts when you close the door and it would go?
Yes.
Had one
Sorry.
of those.
Yeah, and they go.
Yep.
They
Sometimes
never
they're too
fit
tight.
me. They're always like up here on my neck.
Well, yeah.
Oh, and I'm sure we've all been there on the seatbelt that just
Oh,
will not
God.
come down unless you put it all the way back, and then it finally
Yeah.
comes down.
And then you have to like slowly break it out.
Every human being who has experienced that loses their fucking mind. They're like, why is it closing? Like you just like lose it when it just keeps getting stuck. Sorry.
I sense some trauma here, Solo.
We're all triggered. We're all triggered.
So, good buddies. Are we going to are we gonna?
Is this
Deliver
really
those
the
sup-
name that we're going to stick with?
I mean, this might be another time to think of a new name. But anyway, let me ask what I was gonna ask. I was just trying to bring us back to the moment. Are we going to drop off those supplies that we were originally going to drop off? Because I feel like we've gotten quite sidetracked. But we should probably make sure those supplies do get to that person.
Almost dying will do that to you.
Yes, but we did sign up for the job. We should finish the job.
It's a little anticlimactic after everything that's happened, but I wouldn't want that person to be in a tough spot without their supplies. Seems like we have a pretty handy vehicle to get around now, too, so maybe it won't be that much of a side trip.
Well, magician, take us away.
Take us away.
Make it so.
I don't know where we're going, but.
Oh, wait, maybe we should look at Kewen's map, try and figure out where we are and how to go.
Oh, yeah,
Wait,
let's
you don't
look
have
at
a
it.
navigator.
Yeah.
Oh.
You're gonna sit in the shotgun seat and play. We'll call you Gyps.
Okay. So who's looking at the map to try to navigate?
Me.
The one with the map, I
survival
would
check,
assume.
please.
What?
The one that walked the wrong
Survival
way.
check.
The map or the. Okay.
I have.
I'm gonna help her with that check.
You have advantage then looking at the map.
It's a 19. Oh, I have advantage.
19.
Wow.
That dice is gone.
That was true.
Lizzie kept doing that
but
the other day
19.
too.
19.
We may never see that die again.
No,
It's cool.
it's right here. I just picked
At least it wasn't a D4.
Oh my god, that's worse than Legos.
Ow. Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say that's. I have these metal
Only thing
ones.
worse than
So
Lego.
bad.
Oh god.
The metal one.
Oh, it's so sharp though. This thing is like really,
sharp.
really sharp.
We're squirreling around. 19.
So
Many squirreling
19.
moments.
You look at the map. Oh yeah, I have that one too.
You can
yeah,
drop
so-
blood with this thing easy.
Oh god. So you look at the map and you kind of get this direction of where you are now, and Nafako pointed out where you guys were, and you got your bearings. You give these, you give the directions to Kai, and Kai starts going. And you know there's not enough room because there's trees and stuff, but this thing hits the trees and uproots them and knocks them over and just really just makes its own path. And you start going west.
I know the trees can't hear me, but I'm still going to say, I'm so sorry. Just like in the space.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know what the
Kai,
seats are made out of, but I'm pretty sure that they're getting claw indents in them.
Can you make a dex save for me?
Who?
You.
No. Oh, saving throw. Okay. Good.
You know what's
Reroll that.
really cool?
Ice.
Ice is really cool, but because of my ring of protection, I got a +1 on all my saves, so I don't have a -1 on my dex saves anymore.
Hey,
13!
we're moving up in the world.
We're moving up in the world.
I used 2 lucks to get a 13.
13. Okay. It takes you a little bit, which is why you ran over the trees to get a handle on her. But you are able to kind of like veer around now and kind of very easily navigate through this thing. It definitely turns very nice. It's not an old Buick. It definitely turns
Can I
fairly
drift?
well, actually. Yeah, you could probably try to drift if you need to.
Ukodor drift instead of Tokyo drift. Ukodor drift.
Oh my god, I love it. So
There
you
will
do
not
travel.
be any
You do
seat
travel.
left if you drift.
You do travel for quite a while, maybe an hour, and you can have everyone give me a perception check. I need to find a good
3.
sound effect for inside of this thing.
Screw it, I'm rerolling.
That's a nat 20, so 24.
Nice.
Boom.
24. 18.
22.
22. Nafako?
3.
3. Kai, you're very focused on driving.
6. Yeah.
10 and 2. But the rest of you, the 3 on the bottom, you guys do see that it does look like the cliff edge. You are reaching the coast is coming up, and you do see a darkish structure to your left. So on the south side of the cliff edge.
Cliff. Cliff.
What is that? The
Cliff!
world ends
That
right
means
there.
slow down or turn.
The world ends right
I'm
there.
not going down. Tokyo drift. Ukodor drift.
Tokyo Drift deck save for me.
Oh god. I'm sorry.
We're all gonna die right here.
And this is how I
Car
TPK the
crash.
party.
Well,
It's
been a
not
nice
the
season,
scary
everyone.
night.
16. It's not so bad. It's not so bad. A 16.
Tune in next week for season 3 of
Also, if
Realms
we're-
of Ukodor.
How close are we together?
I
'Cause
can
if
breathe
we're-
underwater. I'm fine. Sorry.
If you're within 10 feet of me, you have a +4.
Oh,
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. 2 luck to Kai, by the way.
Oh, thank you. You think I can't drive? It's like, goodness.
It wasn't me.
That's exactly
That's Austin. So
Oh, thank you.
you easily enough you kind of slide it to the left, and when you don't even get close to the edge, and you start barreling towards this dark structure. And the closer
Wait.
that you get, it looks like an old hunting lodge or like a winter lodge.
We're not trying to plow through that thing, are we?
Should I stop?
Yeah.
The job was to deliver, not to destroy.
Okay. Stop.
Okay, so and it stops, and you get another luck. Got it.
Okay.
You get another luck. So you do stop in front of this house. Your big giant machine that is definitely noticeable now. An interesting little gnome walks out. Big old glasses. You can't park here.
You're Glim's brother, aren't you?
Why? Who's asking?
Well, my name's Kiwin, and we know your brother, and he's really grumpy, and you just seem like you're kind of grumpy right now. Do you need
He's
coffee?
the worst.
He is the worst.
I'm not. Why am I grumpy? You just pulled this big machine in front of my house.
I'm
I just said
surprised-
you can't park
Oh.
there.
It was
What?
better to park here and then instead of on your house.
Well,
It was my
Let me
first time
ask-
driving. Could have happened.
Apparently, that's the
sorry.
only 2 options.
Well, I'm sorry.
Well,
It's
I,
either on your house or right here.
I apologize about where we parked. We don't know how to. We don't know
no,
about
you're
this
you're
thing.
fine.
It's new.
You should put up no parking signs if you care.
Not-
That's a
not
good
aware of
idea.
parking
And
restrictions.
he, you see him like run back inside, and he pulls out like a piece of wood. And he's like,
Is this even a neighborhood? What is this?
"No,
It's one shack.
par,
We got some things for
Parking.
you from your brother.
You do?
Yeah, I think they're in my bag. And I'm gonna pull them out.
Okay. So you pull out the bundles or whatever you were supposed to
Yeah.
bring him.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Well, that job here is done.
Yes.
I can't remember if we were supposed to have any, if it was cash on delivery arrangement or if you paid for that all up front.
It was
to be honest.
half now and half later.
Yeah, that does sound familiar.
Mhm.
What's your
I had
name?
You probably told us a name at one point.
You did. Hang on. I gotta pull up.
It's
the
just
rock.
Glim's brother. That's
I don't
just what we
think-
call
I
it.
don't think,
Clark
I don't
Nangle.
think we got a name for it.
It was Clark Nangle.
No,
He's Glum. There's
it was
Glim.
Clark.
and Glum.
Yeah, it was Clark.
Nangle.
Thank you, Eclipse.
One more
Is Clark-
time. One more time on that.
It's Clark Nangle. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Well,
Clark?
yeah, I named him after a Christmas Vacation, so yes, it's Clark Ningle.
Clark Griswold? What?
But Ningle, because he's a gnome.
This was yeah.
Hey, was there anything else that he wanted, or I haven't talked to him in a long time.
Jingle,
Surprised he
jingle.
even sent
Well,
these.
he was very grumpy until he had some coffee. Then he was a little
Yeah.
less grumpy, right?
He gets like that, yes.
Such a potty mouth.
Yeah. The heart brown morning potion was pretty tasty.
Do you have any?
I might have some, yeah.
I don't think I'm ever going to get used to that.
Hot brown morning potion.
I think Eclipse might need some. He's
Would
He
you
didn't give
all
us
like
some.
to come in?
Oh, I don't
Well,
know if I should give my
sure.
brother the hot brown morning potion.
Well, come in. So he kind of scurries into the house, and again from the outside, this is it's just like a hunting lodge, kind of just a cabin out in the middle of nowhere. It kind of looks dilapidated on the outside, and if you all go in, and as you go in, the inside is very, very warm and cozy, and it's a lot bigger than what it looks like on the outside. It's very big on the inside.
TARDIS house.
Before I go in, I'm sorry, I just had a little bit of a panic attack. Before I go in, I would like to cast Sending to Janice.
Okay.
It is the 3rd. It is the day after the new moon. I need to cast Sending on Janice right now.
Okay.
For her own sanity.
Hey there, Janice. It's Kiwin. We found the last chapter to your stories. Can't wait to get it back to you.
Oh, how lovely! When are you going to bring it back? I'm so excited to read it. So the story is the final chapter. I don't even know what to do. Oh, I don't even know. It's so amazing.
I don't know if that was 25.
It was.
No,
Was it?
I
was counting on my fingers.
I would assume she kept going because she doesn't
Oh, yeah.
understand.
She does not understand.
Okay. So once I hear that, I'm like, whew, and I go into the bigger on the inside cabin.
And before they go in, Eclipse hesitates for just a brief moment, turns around and looks behind. Birds.
Just acting all normal with his.
Oh my god!
owl.
So you enter in Clark's house, and he lets you all in, and there's big sofas and couches and things for you all to sit down, and he comes out with a big tray of the morning. I forget it every time.
Hot brown morning potion.
Hot brown morning potion. I will forget again. What do you guys want? Here you go. Here. I hope it's good and tasty. I grinded the beans myself. Here. There's one for you and one for you.
Nafika.
It's very tasty.
I sent a message to Janice, letting her know that we found the book, and she did respond, so she's still alive.
Oh, that is a great relief.
Yeah.
It's the time for... Oh yeah, I suppose the new moon, that's right, that's the name.
That was yesterday, so...
What do you mean? What do you mean the new moon? What are you going on about?
Well, they sacrifice someone in Trebok every new moon. You didn't know that?
I thought it was every full moon. I can't.
I thought it was new moon.
Well, new moon is just the smaller towns. They sacrifice twice a month, but it's food or warmth, I believe.
Well, now I'm confused.
I don't know. I do trust Kiwin on this. She keeps pretty meticulous notes.
I thought it was the new moon.
This is just Clark. Hey,
Okay.
This is Clark.
Damn it, Clark. Well, she's also very old, so just checking in on her is good. She could die at any moment.
Yeah, we should get that book back to her quickly, just to make sure.
Yes.
Jesus, with all this sacrifice, the population must be draining fast.
Then again, I mean, seems like they're having a hard time feeding everyone, given how cavalier they are with, oh yeah, we'll just use humanoid skin for whatever.
Yeah.
Eat the meat, people.
Waste not what not want. Yes.
Well, the more
Takes his
reason
tray
why
back
it
to his
seems
kitchen.
really apt that we deal with these Pariel sooner than later.
Eek. That's nasty business.
Hey, do you know anything about the big battle where Pyriel fought the Artificer and there was like an army there?
Yes. I do.
So what do you know? Were you there?
I was actually, yes.
What happened? Were you in the army that was trying to take down the artificer, and then Pyriel showed up and just stomped over everybody? Is that what?
Sort of. I believe. I'm trying to remember. This is still the same winter, but it was like last winter, months ago. I can't remember. It all blurs together. Everything is just white and cold and stupid. It was it was over by the crag. If you go east of the cities, Thendur is probably the closest one. You go a few days out east of that. There's a pretty large crag out there, and that's where the Artificer and Pyriel meet. I guess I don't know why, but that's where they meet. There was a large group of people that went out there to try to find the Artificer and kill them, and they didn't know that Pyriel was there, or I'm not sure. There's a lot of confusing bits of information. I was traveling from the mountains over there with new things, and yeah, I witnessed the whole thing. It was terrible. 1,000 people died that day.
They meet there regularly.
I believe it's by the winter solstice. I can't remember. What day is it today?
It's now the 3rd, right?
3rd of Ukodor November.
Oh, Noago. Yes. Oh, yes.
Noago.
Then it would be the be next month. They would normally meet in the same place. Yes.
So then we set a trap.
A month is a long time to wait.
And it would. If it's the winter solstice, it would be almost like 2 months, right?
Yeah, it's the full moon of the December month. I'm blanking on at the moment. My mind is very cold right now.
You live
December.
I live here, yes, but everything is. I don't even know what day it is. I don't keep track. I'm way too busy with all the things I'm doing. It's all just. It's tiring, really.
So it's not the solstice. It's the full moon.
Maybe.
One of those.
Yes, It's the solstice the new moon? I can never remember.
The solstice is about the sun.
Yes.
Has nothing to do
But I
with
feel
the
like-
moon.
That would be too rare that they meet if they're meeting
Wait.
almost once a month.
Wait, hang on a second. And he runs over to the cabinets and he starts like ripping books out and throwing them around. And he yes, and he grabs the book and he comes in and he's flipping through it. I believe they are one and the same day now. That hasn't happened in 100 years. The 16th of Durta.
Is there significance?
The full moon and the solstice. I feel like there is. My mind is so tired. I'm so tired. And he kind of just sits down and gets a little tired.
And then
Right.
he waddled away.
So
You're tired.
we dropped the supplies.
Well, you gotta be nice, Carrick. He's all alone.
All right.
Have
Doesn't
some,
seem like he's too bothered by it.
have some hot brown morning potion.
Well, sorry, I'm just very tired.
I'll pass that to me, Eclipse. Oh, wait, wrong side.
One day we'll get this right.
We'll get this. It's been a while since we've practiced.
I feel like there is some significance there, but that it's much older than me. You need to find someone who's been around longer than I have. I'm only 87 years old, for goodness sake.
That's really old.
Wow.
No,
Not
it's
gnomes.
not. No.
That is quite old.
Mind your tongue. I'm in the prime of my years.
Meant,
Crack, crack,
meant no
crack.
offense.
Facts.
This one is not known many of that age. This one's only seen 18 seasons.
You're a year younger than I am.
I am on average very young.
You don't want to know.
Well,
Well, we thank you for the hospitality.
oh, you're most welcome. Yes.
Did he open what was in the boxes, in the crates?
No, he just set them down. He's been
You know,
pretending to you all,
Clark,
trying to be a good host.
Clark,
Yes.
I think you should go back to Trevok and run the shop, and your brother should come up here and be alone.
What? Why would I do that? I love it out here.
I mean, it's real nice out here, but he's just not a people person. I don't think.
He doesn't have to be. Really?
But if you're working with customers, I mean, you gotta be able to.
Have you seen those customers? Oof.
We
The
were some of
customer's
those
not
customers.
always right.
I mean, I'm not saying they're always right, but at least be nice to them and don't spout off be a potty mouth the whole time. I mean, it's just rude.
You hear Roland behind you the snicker for a second as he's drinking the coffee.
Shut up, Roland. You're not a part of this. You don't know how he treated me. My God.
I feel like I'm a good buddy already.
Now, why do you know that? Because I don't know.
Well, you guys just said that. Didn't you
I
say
did
that in
say
character?
You were talking about it.
I did.
yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. I did say that.
In the car.
We really
I
cannot
was
allow
just checking that I didn't mishear. That's all.
we cannot allow that name to stick.
Why not? Is
I
there
mean-
something wrong with that name?
We are good, and we are buddies.
We're like Chucky.
We're like Chucky? What?
I'm gonna take
buddy.
Yeah. It's like Chucky.
We're just a bunch of walking redheaded. Well, I guess two.
Yeah.
Two redheaded.
I mean, my feathers look a little red.
dolls.
Okay.
Walking redhead, what?
Creepy dolls.
I am.
Murderous
Well,
creepy dolls.
You're pretty creepy.
Not
yeah.
murderous, no. Kewen's not murderous.
This one
Yeah.
takes offense. This one is not a doll.
So,
I'm not sure what you guys are going on about, but I'm gonna sit here and just drink my coffee.
I think it's a great name.
So, do we have any idea where on the map we are?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we're like slightly north of Northfell, right?
Yeah. So if you're,
I want to look
looking
at the map, but I'm
map-
afraid I'm going to move something again.
No, yeah, we didn't queue up the map either for the thing, but yeah, you're north. Like if you see where that peak is of that mountain, east of Northfell, you're just west of that. So you're in this thing. You're probably a few hours away from Northfell.
And Nightcrest.
Nightcrest,
Nightcrest is in Hylac, isn't
Oh,
it?
that's in Hylac.
Andoria,
Yeah. Sorry.
where Orgul was at is Andoria. You could probably get there before nightfall.
Okay.
This thing moves.
Yes.
Oh,
It made the it definitely made the delivery quest far more anticlimactic.
I think we've gotten all we could
I
out of
think
that
we
quest.
had enough. I think we've had
Climactic.
enough climatic experiences for a few sessions.
I mean, it did the Kessel run in about.
Oh, good lord.
So
How many parsecs?
you know what's funny? Because parsec isn't even a measurement
No.
of time,
No,
which
it's
is the
just- it's a
funniest thing
distance.
about it.
It's a measurement
Yes.
of distance.
Which
Wasn't that just a Ford flub? Doesn't matter. We'll talk about it later.
No,
Science.
it's in the script. Anyway.
a light year is a measurement of distance and not time.
So, you guys want it? Very good.
I think
I'm not
we
a
should
nerd. I'm not a
get on
nerd.
our way.
We're all nerds.
Just hanging out.
Well, we should probably return to our other business.
Indeed.
What other business do we got?
I think they want to plan something with Orgul.
Oh. Yeah, he was nice.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice. That's a strong word.
Well, he was very nice to me.
Yeah.
He was very nice to you. He was like dusting himself off now that you mention it.
They
What was
were
that?
they were of a caliber that this one appreciates.
Mm-hmm. But I don't think he would use the word nice.
Yeah.
I'm using it.
Once again,
So,
thank you for
I'm
your
back in the
hospitality.
vehicle and swigging on the flask.
got it. And as you're leaving, Clark is like, yes, well, have safe journeys and good luck in all your things.
Did we get payment? Eclipse.
I'm trying to remember actually, DM. Were we supposed to get paid by Clark or were we supposed to get paid by Glim?
Both.
Well, he paid us up front. We were supposed to.
I think it was half up front and then the other half when we get here, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure.
There was a matter of payment.
Yeah,
upon
it's 200
receipt.
gold now, 200 gold later. Boom.
Later from Glim or from
Clark.
Clark?
Mm-hmm.
What was that, sir? Yeah.
There was a matter of payment upon receipt of the delivery.
Oh, are you sure that my brother wasn't going to cover that when you confirmed that you delivered?
So wait, I actually don't remember. Did he say that we were going to get paid by Clark or we were going to get paid by Glim?
Somebody owes us 200 gold? I don't know who's going to pay it.
I'm
But
pretty
somebody
sure it
owes
was
someone
his
it.
brother.
Okay.
That Clark?
I'm pretty sure.
Is Clark being mean just like Glim?
I mean, he had this very guilty expression on his face of like, "Am I getting away with it?"
I always have a guilty look on my face. Let's be
No.
real.
Not
You're
true.
not wrong. You're not wrong.
Clark, you don't want to act like your brother now, do you?
What do you mean?
Well, Eclipse is saying that you're supposed to pay us, so...
I mean, was that the arrangement?
Eclipse?
It was made to this one's understanding that we receive partial payment from the brother, and then upon delivery, the other portion.
Very well. And he'll go back into his little thing, and he'll pull out a little pouch. He kind of shakes it and gives it to you. If you see my brother again, please let him know that he owes me 200 gold pieces. He was trying to pull the wool over your eyes. Unfortunate.
Your brother's a peach.
He's lovely.
Sorry, I'm in the thing. I forgot.
We will be sure to deliver the message eventually.
Or not. Well, no, you should get your money back. You should get your money
God, is there a horn on this thing?
Gosh.
I think Eclipse does the horn.
By the way, Eclipse does subtly shake the pouch just to make sure it feels about the right weight.
It feels about the right weight.
Okay, cool. Just checking.
And what's in the crates? What did were we delivering to you anyway?
There's food and supplies and other things I would use for just surviving out here in the wilderness by myself.
Oh, and those don't cost money?
I mean, they do. I sent him 1,000 gold pieces to send all this stuff over here.
Yeah, he screwed
And
you
400
over.
of that gold pieces was supposed to get someone to bring it back. I paid in advance.
So we believe him.
Insight check.
Let's see.
He would believe.
Oh. Got plenty of luck.
I'll use a luck point for that. Okay, that's a 17.
It's hard to read. Those black and red dice are sexy. I'm gonna roll it again just for fun. Sorry.
What does that say?
It says fuck.
Keywin, what does that? No,
Fuck,
Keywin,
yes.
what does that say?
Kewen, this one's not able to read it. Could you perhaps assist us in this?
That's amazing.
She says nope. I couldn't read
Thank
it.
you. Thank you for ensuring our coverage on this matter. We'll be sure to deliver your grievance to your brother.
Is there anything you want us to take him? If we head back that way.
Oh, I just found this.
I appreciate it, but
Let me take that for
no,
you.
I don't believe so.
Okay.
If you have a
Thank
letter
you.
that you would like to write to him about this matter, we'd be happy to give it to him.
Oh, I will. I have I have my own means of sending him letters.
Yes.
Oh. Well, very well.
On their way.
Can't remember the item at the moment, but yes.
It's called the fuck Usinger.
One of those
Whenever.
like books.
Well,
It's like a
it's the little where you write the letter and it like flies to your
Yeah.
person.
Oh, the paper birds that
birds.
we had in.
Yeah, paper birds. Yeah.
On their way back to the vehicle, assuming that that's what we're doing at this point, Eclipse, almost on autopilot, starts to walk towards Keywin with the pouch, thinks about that for half a second, and then goes to Kyriel. Hold on to this.
Okay.
We know the tall one still has much to learn on these things.
That's true. She's very generous. It's kind of nice.
Is nice, but in situations can be a bit of a fault. Shall we?
Okay. So as you all embark into your Batman mobile,
The Honkers Mobile, thank you.
oh, the Harker's mobile.
It's white.
The Goose Mobile.
Oh my god, you're gonna get a honk
No.
installed.
That's what the horn is. The horn is a honk.
It's a hunkicle.
I still like it being a honka truck, but you know.
Oh my
Honk.
god, the puns will never be
Honky
done.
truck.
So as you all jump in and get ready to travel to your next destination, we're gonna call it for tonight.
All right.
Honk, honk.
What a calm end to an episode. You know, we should savor these when we can.
Should we?
Well, we're not ending it in dire straits with just
Well,
all this
yeah.
emotional trauma.
Yeah, you know, I feel at peace.
The
For
calm before
now.
the storm.
For now.
Mhm.
The calm before this.
But come back next week because more trauma will inevitably happen, and who doesn't want to watch that?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
last year I had 10 traumas.
Someone's gonna die.
Why would you say that?
It doesn't have to. I mean, it doesn't mean one of us necessarily.
Right.
Oh,
I mean,
no.
somebody that gets in our way.
Amazing.
Or if I fail
but
my deck save.
Yeah, for whatever reason, whenever I do any vehicle driving, it's always a deck save. For whatever reason, I've chosen that to be the thing.
Well, how quickly can you grab the wheel?
Strength.
Yeah, I think
Or
that-
strength
that
if
tracks.
we hit.
Well, now that just depends. How does the gear function on the vehicle work? Is it something where you actually have to use your muscle to do it, or is it optimized?
I would say
Yeah.
you probably optimized. I mean, we could probably make an argument that maybe it's some sort of magical check because it is a magical.
Because I was gonna
Thanks
say,
for
is it
tuning in,
you know,
everybody.
digital or anyways? Yeah.
But we are going to go ahead and rate our friends over at Perception Studio. If you haven't seen these guys, they're amazing. They're puppets playing D&D. There's nothing better on the internet. There's nothing better on the internet. I am not even lying. They're fantastic. So go ahead and give them a very welcome Fabled 42 love. Give them a follow because they're amazing. We'll see you guys on Friday for the next episode of Fox Talks.
And
Have a wonderful night.
wizards.
Wizards.
Half of us are
wizards.
going to be in them.
Wizards
Oh my gosh.
and River and
Thank you.